But with the wake pants, it's like, it's not doing anything. Like, it's purely an aesthetic thing. And not only is it an aesthetic choice, but it's a bit of a crutch. So
I like where you're going with this.
So there's like, you know, and I'm gonna, you know, like, I'm contradicting myself already, but like, I also feel like there are certain people that can get away with it.
I approve waterboarding. They're talking about wakeboarding. The thing about wakeboarding, every trick is an invert.
Backside.
Air railing.
A new dimension.
All right, we are back. Another episode of the Grab Matters podcast. Today we welcome on a very special guest, King of the Quadcopter, Dave A.V. How's it going?
I like that. I've never heard that one before.
The Quadcopter.
I might put that on my business card.
You can throw that in the bio. King of the Quad. Copter.
I think you called me Davy Drones at one point, which I really liked.
I have called you Davy Jones.
Yeah,
That's a good one
because
because Davy Jones, you know.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you hadn't heard that one.
Yeah. I need to step up my game with the nicknames. But yeah, thank you for having me on, man.
Thanks for coming on.
Stoked to be here.
So you're in Orlando. Why? What are you doing here?
So I'm in between Malibu events right now. So we got a couple of the Rider Experience tour. So yeah, I'm just did one in Lake of the Ozarks, which was sick, and we go to Colorado Springs, this weekend. So had a week in between, and yeah, you've been kind of getting in my ear for a while about.
Say the word. I was nagging you. You can say it.
No, it's one of those things. Like I used to spend a lot of time in Orlando, I feel like, and yeah, it's just kind of not been the case these last couple of years. But yeah, I've been really excited to come on here. So
very excited.
Glad we're getting it done finally.
Yeah, absolutely. So first question, favorite grab. We got to get this one out of the way here.
Makes sense. Is there any other answer than method? Like,
to me, I think the method's overrated on a wakeboard. So.
Fair enough. I just like
depending on who.
I know it's a boring answer. I know probably like 50% of the guests have said the same thing. It's hard to beat. Like,
let's do one you like to do and one you like to film.
Okay. Let me see. So yeah, definitely method to do. My other one, and you know, I feel like I don't know. It just feels nice, man. It just feels really nice. I guess the other one would be like Indie Tuckney. I'm pretty partial to those.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that, like, you know, I like to bust out while I'm riding the most.
Yeah.
To film, and also I guess like kind of, you know, I probably shouldn't admit to this, but I love the look of a crail. I am completely unable to get that sort of flexibility. I've tried so many times.
I can touch it, but I can't make it. It's not looking good.
Yeah, exactly.
There will be contact.
Yeah.
It's not gonna look good.
I
agree.
I've got a couple fingers, but like, you know, it's just can't seem to make it work. I've pretty much given up on that dream. But it's always a nice one to film, like crail or seatbelt or whatever. Like it's
that positioning is and I think it looks cool on a wakeboard too because you got the rope and the handle, so it's like you got a lot.
For sure.
It's like an X up on a BMX bike or whatever. Second question: what's it like to be Oh Come On Man?
You know what? I kind of obviously anticipate this is coming. I did notice on the waiver here, like you're trying to get me to sign to, like, you know, fully
sign in minutes.
This. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I hope that's not admissible in court, but yeah, it's pretty sweet, man. It's pretty you know, the life of international mystery. I noticed he's coming. It's like a sticker on your microphone.
Oh, he has a magnet. Yeah, he has. So
it's interesting because I've never been here, so it couldn't possibly be me.
Yeah, but you could have an insurgent come in here with, you know, mercenary breaking my house.
I guess so.
So really though, people were hot on your trail for a while.
Yeah,
it was you.
Yeah,
there was a short list and you were on it.
Definitely, yeah. Which I can't help but feel that you contributed quite a lot towards the fingers being pointed at me.
But I didn't dismiss it.
No, your silence was deafening, I would say. But I feel like you also, you know, there are a few things. There was like a breadcrumb trail of clues sort of left out of, you know, I think you posted some Red Horse when everyone was in the Philippines. I remember that specifically because I was on a table with, let me think, I was there with like Graeme, JB, Anna, Willie, like I think Madison was out at that point. I don't know who else. And we're all sat at the table. And this was like, you know, just when you kind of come on the scene with that. Yeah. And someone goes, "Oh my God, he's posted on his story. There's Red Horse. He's here." And then everyone's like, it's like one of those like murder mysteries, like Murder on the Orient Express or something. Like everyone's just like looking around, like, "No, it's got to be you. No, it's definitely you." And then just kind of went from there, I guess.
Those were some of the greatest days ever because I remember overhearing people say things at CWC, and I was just there, and I was just a nobody. I was just a little redhead, you know, wannabe cable rider, and I'm just, throwing everybody off the trail, which was great. So yeah, any confrontations? Anybody actually, hit you point blank in the DMs or face to face?
I nearly got into it with Window actually. Yeah. I gotta say, like, Window is like the nicest dude in the whole world.
Yeah, he's
like,
sick.
I
He's
love
sick.
that man. Like, he is, an absolute legend. But yeah, like, I guess at some point, I don't know, I can't remember like what it was.
It was Ali back
specifically.
too. He's eats the shit out of it.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, he was pretty upset, and he was pretty sure that it was me. And I'm pretty sure we nearly came to blows over that, but luckily it's all good. Love you, Window.
Window's the man, yeah. And he just posted today, Window Wednesday, another window at Thai Wake Park.
Oh, dude,
I don't know if
sick.
this is old footage or not, but
I didn't even see that yet.
It was nice to see him ride, yeah.
I gotta check that out.
Love to see that. I have another question, CWC related. So there's this guy at CWC, and he would just butter around the whole cable. Do you know this guy's name? I could not find the footage of him, and I need to find it.
You mean Spiderman? Like, he does all that.
Yes,
like, he drags
yes.
his hand, and yeah. I'll give you his. I've got his Instagram.
Okay, that's all I need because
I got you, bro. That guy.
this guy's a
also
legend for the listeners.
Yeah.
Absolute CWC legend. I don't know if he still rides.
You can throw up a clip of that. If you don't have it or you can't find it, I'll throw up I'll send you through some footage, and you can throw it up on there.
Because I remember you following him around for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's majestic.
Dude, he's like, it's sick because he's got his own style. He does his own thing. He doesn't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. That's wakeboarding. That's what we should all be doing.
I couldn't agree more.
And yeah, some people might see it and think it's kooky, but like, dude, he's having a good time, and he's perfected that butter and that, like,
He really has.
Yeah.
And some like weird Euro carve,
yeah, I
like
was gonna
backwards
say, like,
carve,
the Euro carve is like goated. So.
Nobody rides like him.
No.
I'll say that.
No.
Which is the highest compliment you can almost receive.
You talk about the silhouette thing. It's like, you instantly know it's that guy. He's got his trademark steez. So,
That's true.
yeah.
Shout out him.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, dude. I can't remember your name. Like,
Well, we'll
right
put it
now,
in. We'll
but,
put it
like,
in right
yeah.
now. This was pre-COVID.
Put his Insta up. Get him some followers.
Yeah, get some engagement going. All right, so let's dive into early days. Because where are you from? How'd this whole wakeboard thing get started for you, baby?
Yeah, so I got into wakeboarding like pretty late in life, I guess. At least compared to most people around the scene. But I'm from England, as you can probably tell. Most Americans think that I'm Aussie, but yeah, I'm actually in fact from England. And I guess like basically I was just hanging with my girlfriend and some of her friends at the time. And yeah, one of them just said, "Hey, do you want to go wakeboarding?" And at that point, like, my only exposure to wakeboarding had been that, like, I'd played Wakeboarding Unleashed, like, along with all the other, like Tony Hawk's and Dave Mirra's BMX and all that good stuff. So like I was aware of like what wakeboarding was, I guess, but not really anything more than the surface level. And we went and rode the boat because that's what this guy was into. Went and took a boat set, and yeah, I mean, I loved it from the moment we got out there. It was just the sickest thing. I was into kind of like, I've always been into like, my main thing, I guess, was skiing before that, but always been into like, mountain biking and sort of anything outdoorsy. Skated a tiny bit when I was a kid. So like, yeah, I was always in that sort of world, and I always like watched a lot of extreme sports stuff. But something about it, like, it just clicked straight away. And then didn't ride a lot of boat, like rode probably, at the height of it, like maybe once a week or something. But that winter, I guess I was like, they put the boat away for the winter. And I was just like, the early stages of addiction or whatever, I started like just tweaking out a little bit and needed my fix. And so I started looking around, and I found there's a cable park like vaguely near to me. Turned up there. There was like literally no one even there.
It's probably cold as shit, yeah?
Oh, dude, it was raining so heavily as well. So I'd like, so my girlfriend at the time, I dragged her there on the premise that there's like a shopping center sort of nearby. And I was like, okay, what would do? We're going to go shopping. And then like, can I go try this wakeboard thing after? She's like, yeah, sure, I guess. But we get there and it's like absolutely pissing with rain. So like, she just sat in the car park. I just like walked down in the pissing rain. There's like nobody there. I turn up and there's like, I don't remember the name of the kid. But there's some bored kid just like sat behind the desk. And I'm like, hey man, I'm here to wakeboard. Is that like, are you open or whatever? Because there's no one like riding a system two. And he's like, I mean, yeah, I guess, like, go get your stuff on. I'm like, okay, can I use like a wetsuit or whatever? He's like, yeah, sure. And then went out and just like rode up and down a bit, scratched the itch. I was like, oh, dude, this feels great. And then at the end, he's like, hey, like, why don't you hit the kicker? And I was like, oh, I don't know, man. Like, I only just started doing.
Oh, you were just going down in the middle. You were
yeah. Because all I'd done is ride the boat.
Yeah.
So I'd done wake to wakes at that point, and a couple of tricks, I guess. But really, I was just like I had no idea about how to like ride over plastic or anything like that. I've never ridden without fins before, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, he's like, oh, dude, hit the kicker. And I'm like, I don't know, man. He's like, nah, do it. You'll be fine. Like, and I'm pretty sure, like, he was just bored. He just wanted to see someone eat shit. Yeah. Right? He just wanted some amusement for that day because he sat there, like, in the rain.
Pissing rain. Just
and,
come on.
But I hit it and, like, and rode away. And I was like, oh, my God, this feels sick. And from that moment, that was when I really got, like, just hooked on it.
Yeah.
And just kind of never looked back. So yeah, I guess boat was, like, where I started. But cable was definitely, like, what really ignited the spark and everything.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty common too for the boat side of things, unless if it's your boat and you can get into it then, but usually people like get the hook on the boat and they're like, all right, how do I actually like do this every day or whatever? Like, how can I do this a lot,
Totally.
So, all right, so you hit the cable, you get hooked, you scratch the itch. I'm curious on like the like working side of your life. Did you go to college and then like what's that whole side of things? Because you're an accountant, right? Is that wrong there?
Yeah, I was like, at the point I quit to like go into wakeboarding, or like to start filming and stuff, I was a commercial controller. So I was like running a accounting department. Yeah. I never really trained for that. That was never the plan. Never really had a plan. I guess went to university and that, but like came out. I ended up working like a call center job for L'Oreal, if the hair and cosmetics company. And yeah, I guess like. I mean, that sucked.
That must have been brutal.
Literally the worst job ever.
At the L'Oreal call center.
I mean, at least I got lots of free hair product. Like, my mum was stoked. Like, I was
true.
Perks the job. With, like all this, yeah. But so worst job ever. But I would kind of like there was a lot of people in there. Like everyone hated it. Obviously, like there's no joy in something like that. But I was like, okay, there's all these people that are just like clearly like really not enjoying their lives, and this does suck, but like I can either join with them and like just complain about shit and just keep going, or I can like try and work my ass off and hopefully get promoted, and maybe there's like something slightly better, like one rung up the ladder. And then fast forward, I just kept getting promoted, just through probably just error more than anything, just like people managers not really knowing what they were doing, and somehow found my way into. I kind of went through like every different type of role within that company, and then ended up sort of like on the accounting side. Moved to another big company, like a big dairy company, and like I say, just kind of fell into it. There was no plan or anything. Kind of, I don't know. I was earning good money, so that's nice. That's like something to strive for, I guess. But like, I never really cared about like having lots of stuff or a fancy car or any of that stuff. All I really wanted was like the free time and the ability to travel. And I had like the means to travel, but I could never get like any time off whatsoever. Like especially a job like that, like it's just it's just impossible to agree any time off because it's always something coming up that they're like, oh no, we can't. You couldn't possibly take holiday now because this is coming up.
And it's always finite too. It's never.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, I kind of like that was starting to annoy me. So all these like a large part of my job was like reporting to the executives of the company, like the managing director and all that sort of stuff, and telling them what our pricing strategy should be, what products we should be cutting, what we should be pursuing, all that sort of boring stuff that no one wants to hear about. But as a result, I was around a lot of these guys who'd, they'd reached the end point of that whole like career thing, and they're all fucking miserable. Like, am I allowed to swear, by the way?
Oh, you can say whatever you want.
Because I mean, like we're already too deep to back out now. But yeah, they were just like miserable people that were not enjoying their lives. Never saw their families. Like they had money, they had the title, but like nothing really as far as I could see.
No fulfillment whatsoever.
Yeah, totally. And like if that's actually what you're into, like if you actually get stoked by like making a lot of money and working every hour that God sends, then that's fine by me. Yeah. Like if that actually is what you want to do, cool. Like fair play to you. But for me, I just realized that like that was never going to be what I wanted. And then coincidentally at some point, I guess I started filming wakeboarding, mostly just as a bit of fun with my friends. I was down the cable park, at some point you can't ride anymore because you're tired, and I just wanted to like keep the stoke going, and I was having a lot of fun just like watching my friends ride. So picked up a camera, started filming, was loving that, and then I guess at some point I got a drone, and within about 6 months of like starting to fly the drone, I'd got paid to do my first contest. And so as this is like building up and I get more and more people like wanting me to come and do it, I started thinking like this whole office thing, I'm kind of over it. And there's a very tiny chance that I might be able to like go and eke out a living and film wakeboarding and travel. It's obviously like a decision that I didn't take lightly because I had a nice stable job and a career and everything. But I kind of got to the point where I'd reasoned with myself, like, even if this all goes tits up, after a year, say, I'll have a really good year. I'll have done something cool. And then I can always go back to, like, the boring office job. Yeah. Like, there's going to be someone that I might take a pay cut or something, but I can, Yeah. It's not the end of the world. And I might just have, like, the sickest year, or it might actually, there's, like, a 0.001% chance that maybe it works out and I can just, like, bum around and film wakeboarding for years. And touch wood, here we are. Like still going strong. Still just being a bum.
Okay, so you're filming drone. This is kind of early days of drone filming, though. Am I?
Yeah,
like,
I guess so.
As I mean, like consumer drone filming. Like for you to go buy a drone, like it was pretty early on. So like, what was that first drone that you got? And I kind of run through the learning to fly the drone and film wakeboarding because it's tough.
Sure. So the first drone I got was the original Mavic. That had just come out. And I can't even remember how much it was, but I remember that like I'd been wanting to get a drone pretty much since even before wakeboarding. Like I'd seen them and I thought they were cool.
They're sick, yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, dude, it's like a little like model helicopter you can fly, but it's got a camera and it's like, it looks sick. But I kind of think they were, the cheapest one you could get was maybe like $2,000 or something. That's UK as well. So like, and I just thought like, most likely it's going to sit there and just be a paperweight. It's just going to collect dust on a shelf. I'm going to fly it like 1 or 2 times and that would be that. So it kind of like, I couldn't really justify like making the purchase. And then they brought out the Mavic and it was like, I guess it was a little bit cheaper and it was, it was smaller and like, a bit more nimble or whatever. And I was like, okay, screw it. I'm doing it. I'm going to get one and we'll just take the chance. Just kind of like, just figured I'd give it a go and didn't really expect it to like go anywhere. But yeah, I don't know, like started messing around like mostly, I mean, I got a couple of friends like down at Hove Lagoon in England and they always like laugh a bit at me to this day about this. But the first time I took this thing out, I like went down, there was like, I guess there was like some competition on or like everyone's just riding. And I got the drone up and I was like filming people on this is a 2.0 again. And I'm just like going sideways, but like over the land and just like, trying to get used to it. And I was like, fly it over the water. Like, why don't you fly it over the water? I'm like, oh, no, there's no way. I'm way too scared for that. And they always like, like break my balls about that now because it's how far we've come and all that. But yeah, there was a point where that was like pretty terrifying.
So you're flying sideways on land next to the people with the cameras.
Yeah, pretty much. I think eventually at some point, like I got some really high up shots, like over the cable and stuff. But yeah, I mean, one thing you've also got to understand is like this sounds more stupid now, but it's like for all the kids out there, like drones, even in this short space of time, they've come a long way. Yeah, like a long way. So like now it's pretty easy because they're pretty powerful. The sensors are really good. They got like obstacle detection, all this stuff. These had like none of that, and they just like would randomly shoot like 10 feet to the left or 10 feet to the right, or even worse, they'll just suddenly like descend because they get confused by the water beneath them and stuff. So like it's got a lot easier now. I feel like now you can just kind of like you let it do its thing and it's just going to stay there and be pretty stable. Yeah. But they did kind of suck a few years back. So.
You went through the rough days of the drones.
I guess so.
You've cut your teeth with the shitty ones.
I missed out on the whole hanging outside of a helicopter and
you did miss that by like 10 years.
I know. I'm pretty disappointed in that, to be honest.
It would have been cool.
Yeah,
for sure. Budget would have had to be a lot higher though for those.
Yes, for sure.
That's the tough part with the helicopters.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's time we dive into the elephant wheel questions. A little early elephant wheel questions. If you can go ahead and grab that down.
All right.
The LF'n wheel of questions.
Liquid Force likes to make wakeboarding fun. Let's make this podcast a little bit more fun by spinning the LF'n wheel of questions. So we got a couple new things on here. Yeah, there you go. So we got some classics: steal a trick, hot take, make a movie, which hopefully lands on one of those. But we also have correct prediction. So I have 4 contests, and you're gonna have to predict who wins.
Oh damn.
Yep. And then we got a couple hot takes. So go ahead and give that baby a spin, and we'll see where she lands.
Let's see how we go.
Hot take. I know, Dave. I know you have some hot takes. I know you do. I know you well enough now. You got some hot takes.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's because it's difficult to gauge what's actually a hot take and what's like.
That is the hard part of the hot take.
Yeah. This one's tough. I think as cable parks, as a cable community, we need to start getting harsher on people for riding straight down the middle. And I think everyone has a role to play in that, but I do think that there's an element of like education from the cable park that needs to happen. My take on this is that like obviously like if you're a beginner, like that's totally fine. Like if you're wearing like rental stuff, like
don't even say anything.
I'm not trying to like be crazy out here, but at some point, I think when you start getting your own gear, you've been riding long enough to know that like you're messing it up for everyone else.
Yeah.
Like all you have to do is ride like a few feet to the left or a few feet to the right. It doesn't even matter like
doesn't matter which side.
Yeah, if you're only comfortable with one stance, just like, whatever you do. Like but all you have to do is just like move slightly from the middle of the cable to near the features. And yeah, I don't know. Like I say, I think the obvious answer is that like we've all got a role to play in that. We need to like, just kind of say to someone on the dock, hey bro, like by the way, like you don't have to do it in a nasty way.
Yeah,
but
you'd be very nice about it.
Hey, what would be really cool is like if you didn't fuck it up for everyone else. But also I do feel like the cable parks need to like step up a little bit.
I think some signage would be great, like signage, because in snowboarding and skiing, like that, I feel like this is the equivalent of going off the side of like a rail. Like there's a little jump to get on the rail, the takeoff. Yeah. Like people go off the side of it, and that's like very poor etiquette.
Yeah. Yeah,
same thing. Yeah. Little signage would go a long way.
Or standing underneath the booster and just like, being just generally in the way.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You see that all the time. But like, it's never going to be completely eliminated, but
You think there's a lot of room to improve?
I definitely think there's a lot of room to improve, yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah. And I think it would just make it nicer for everyone. Like, like everyone has a better time then. People get better edge control because they're, like if you're really a complete beginner, and for the first time you're trying to like move around, like you get used to sort of like edging to the right place. So it's good for everyone. But it's like it's a little bit on the cable park because I kind of think like I don't know. Say you're in like a restaurant or whatever. You're sitting down for a nice meal, and then someone just like sparks up a cigarette right next to you. Like you might say something, but ultimately like it's the restaurant. It's like one of the waiters that needs to come over and be like,
sure,
hey, can't do that in this premises. Like, please stop, sir. So yeah, I feel like that's my hot take.
That's a good one. I like that. I think a lot of people would agree. I think if you see Dave at the cable and he's riding behind you, do not ride down the middle. Don't do that.
Dude, this is gonna be every single ride now. Oh, I didn't realize how much
I'm telling him not to. I'm saying don't do it. If you see Dave behind you, don't ride down the middle. You're welcome.
No, in fact, like, please just do slalom. Like, I would really encourage you just to like, just do slalom.
I'd prefer slalom than right down the middle.
Fair enough.
Because then at least some of the features are probably not waved over.
I guess so. You don't ride at Liquid though, so like
I've never ridden there. Yeah.
It kind of.
I could see that being a huge problem there.
Kind of messes with the tension a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
But yeah. So I'll look forward to all of the people that are now going to gleefully like.
No, I told them not to. Dave, I told them not to. I don't know what you're missing here.
Appreciate it.
All right. I think we do LF'n wildcard from the crew at Liquid Force.
Right.
And since we didn't land on the correct prediction, I want to do this for that. So I want you to correctly predict who's going to win these contests coming up the next year. Starting with Munich Mash.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, guys and girls, I want to hear both. Hear both.
All right. That's very tough. I'm going to go with Trent. I feel like I know. Like, hey, we're not on hot take still.
You know, this is correct predictions. You want to get these.
Yeah, if I'm actually like, if we're trying to go for like, what do I actually think? Like, what's the percentage chance of like, person winning? I'm going to have to go with Trent.
Yeah, fair.
Girls' side is harder. I feel like that's kind of wide
Especially
open,
at MASH, I think, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Who's invited? Give me the full list. Have we got that?
Let's go. Rivers, obviously.
Yeah.
Campbell, Elena, Katinka, Claudia. I'm missing one, obviously. There's 6, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Who am I missing? And Courtney Angus, too.
Okay.
So, all right.
Let's see.
She's a vet. Courtney.
Yeah, I honestly like. I'm rooting for the Kangas.
It's kind of like a big comeback season for her.
That'd be
She's traveling all over Europe.
dude. That would be.
She's
the
got
dream,
wake pants on, dude. I mean, she's getting after it.
Oh, we didn't even get to wake pants yet. But we can do that in a minute. Yeah, I got to say between Rivs and Clar, I can't commit between those two. They're both very sick. Yeah. I like them both very much, and they've both got a great chance of putting it down. So
solid 6-rider list, though, I will say. So that would be
I can't wait to watch it. I'm very excited for that.
I'm as well. So it's on Sunday too, so I won't even have to miss any.
So
it's good to watch. All right, next contest, Bro Stock double up contest. Who you got winning? This is just a one single winner, easy.
Okay.
Well, not easy, but
I'm gonna need the field again. I'm gonna need to. I want to do this justice.
Okay, no, that's fair. I'll go on. We'll go right now to brostock.com.
Sick.
Brostock is back, by the way. It's happening June 27th, 28th. That's in like 2 weeks from now. It'll be in a week from this when this comes out. It's in Olympic Park, Georgia, Lake Lanier. So you better be there. Athletes. Let's see. All right, you just want me to go just list all 20?
Yeah, just bang them out.
Corey Tunison, Daniel Johnson, Huge de Armas, Julia Castelli, Jake Palat, Kai Ditch, Sam Brown, Ulf Ditch, Maxime Roux, kind of like that name, Gunther Oka, Luca Kidd, Massey, Shota, Stefano, Thomas Herman, Ty Hyam, Nick Rappa, Shiant Kaiwa, I don't know if I said that right, Steele Lafferty, and Rusty Malinowski.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
So it's pretty much everybody that would,
Yeah. That is a hell of a field. I mean, Thomas seems to have it pretty on lock at the moment. Yeah, that seems to be working out.
Those are in prime conditions, though. Bro Stock, notoriously not the best conditions.
That is true. And then you get into your vets, don't you? It's like your Rusties and your Steels and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go optimistic on this one. I want Sam Brown to put it down.
Okay.
And yeah, he's gonna do something that looks phenomenal, and he's gonna stomp it.
That's a correct prediction.
Hell yeah.
You heard it here first.
Let's go.
This will age well or
Dude,
poorly.
what do I win? What if I just rattle off every name?
It'd be insane.
You can cut this to
yeah. I'll just have you say every name, and then I can cut it after, and you get them all right. All right. PWT overall. Pretty much the same names on the dudes, so.
Yeah, for sure. Damn, this is tough because there's only been one stop so far, right?
Yep, second stop is this weekend,
yeah. So catching it early in the season, it's difficult to say. Again, I'm going to go optimistic again. Trent Stuckey comes out of left field, smashing 3 stops in a row without even needing stop 1. He comes out, he destroys everyone. You heard it here first.
So you're also saying that he is not going to Wake the City, which is the same as top 4 of PWT. We're getting a lot of breaking news from Dave right now.
I actually no, I'm pretty sure you're right. I'm pretty sure he won't be there. So yeah, I mean winning knows? Based on 2 stops would be
unprecedented.
Yeah,
he wouldn't even be there to collect the overall.
Even more impressive.
Just Trent Stuckey thing.
Yeah.
All right, we got and the women's side of that.
And
the PWT.
Oh shit! Sorry, I thought you meant Wake the City. Sorry, I'm like I
don't have the field for Wake the City, so I can't confirm.
Women's, that is a tough one.
It's a tough one. I'm going to give you some time to think about that because it's a lot of names. So Worlds in Florida this year.
Worlds in Florida, yeah.
We don't have the list, but you just gotta come up with 2 names.
Okay. Because they actually are doing women, so it makes my life. I've got to do double the work now.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm going to go... Is Ulf going to ride in that one?
I would assume so. If it's in Florida, I don't see why I wouldn't.
Yeah. Again,
that's a good name.
Let's go like Fairy Tale. Let's go I mean, there's no stakes in this. It's not like we're putting money on the line.
Correct,
So yeah. Ulf smashes his run, does everything perfect, absolutely kills it.
Love it.
If he puts that run down, how can you argue with that?
Why not?
Really?
And girls, who you got?
I'm I'm gonna go Megan, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, easy. Last one. Plastics. Plastics is back. Plastic Playgrounds. I don't have the field for this because there's about 6,000 riders in it. Who you got? This is this hometown hero right here.
Yeah, Plastics.
Are you gonna be there?
Yeah, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be filming. I'm gonna be around. Very tough. I mean, like, boring answer, but you got to think Trent or Gavin. But
Let's remove them from the equation for this one.
okay, I'd love
Just for fun.
I'd love to see one of the English boys get it.
Yeah,
Like, that would be sick. Like, you know, hometown victory.
Little
and
Liam,
everything.
little
Like,
Liam Peacock,
yeah,
actually.
I feel like, you know, yeah, like Liam's always like the one with probably like the most of a shot. Like, I mean, maybe Joey like smashes it out. Matty, I feel like on a good day, like if he puts everything down again, like he puts some sick runs together.
It's so hard to compare his runs to other people's runs too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Butter into the kicker, mob out. Fuck, I don't know how to score that.
Definitely makes it hard on the judges.
Yeah.
I really like that thing. That was cool.
That was so sick. Yeah, just unique. Girl side, what do you got?
Let me see. Gonna go with Lena. Gonna wrapped up, you know.
Yeah,
Like,
there you go.
We'll go
She's
for that.
killing it too.
She's been doing
Looked
great.
really
yeah.
good at LA.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's go ahead and put that elephant wheel questions back. So we brought up Liam Peacock. You know, I think it's time we dive into a guest question from none other than the man himself, Liam Peacock.
Yo, what's up, Dave? It's Liam Peacock here. I am a huge fan of your work. I wanted to ask you one question. If you were stranded on a desert island and you could only take with you 3 wakeboarders, who would you take and why?
Damn, dude. I need to think about this one.
Well, it kind of depends on what. Are you trying to survive? Or are you trying to have a good time?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, like I guess I'm gonna go survival mode because,
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Smart.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes I feel like I would like to be stuck on a desert island, but at the same time, you know, eventually you'd. Well, I guess there's no cable there, is there? Presumably.
Yeah.
So
Deserted island, no nothing.
So yeah, at some point we need to get out. So need someone that's going to be a group of lads that are pretty with it, pretty industrious.
Resourceful, yeah.
Yeah. Damn, I don't know, man. This is I'm trying to think of any wakeboarders that are, like, you know, not useless.
That's a short list.
Like,
You know?
it's in a survival situation. That's pretty tough.
You get some Boy Scouts, some Cub Scouts you need, you know?
Who's done like is there anyone with like survival training or like
Not that I know of, man. I mean, who's like the most outdoorsy, I guess, it's kind of a kooky word, but
no, that's
kind of where I'm
right for it.
thinking.
Yeah. But I'm coming up
Gritty.
blank on
Just 4 Dave AVs, just
yeah, maybe it's got to be.
yeah, I don't know. I can't help you out with this one, I guess.
No. Damn, dude. No, I'm really like drawing a blank with
Nothing.
This. Like,
How about this? All right, we'll dive into a question from Ryan then, since we got nothing.
All right, let's go.
Moral of the story is, Liam, he didn't say your name. So that's... All right, we got a guest question from Ryan Peacock.
Yes, Dave. Mate, wanted to ask, where did you come up with this idea for the audio? How are you doing that? What is the technology? Please let me know.
I think he means if you want to tell the people, like, the last couple of videos you've posted, you're doing kind of like mic'd up situations. And I wanted to ask you about this anyway. So, yeah, I guess kind of run through that.
Yeah, I guess, like, I don't know. It's something that I've been trying to incorporate for a long time now. Excuse me. Sorry, the LaCroix is killing me right now.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, something I've wanted to like work into my videos, and like, you know, I have done that with a lot of my projects. But you know, for anyone that's not in the know, a drone doesn't really like record sound, and as much as I do film like camera as well, like most of my stuff tends to be like, you know, it is quite drone heavy. So you're not really capturing the audio. So in the past, I've like had to painstakingly like splice together like little bits of audio that I've captured to try and like fake the sound, because it is like, it's a huge part of the experience.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's I feel like it brings you into the riding so much more. And you know, you might not notice it, but when you're riding yourself, I feel like so much of the joy of riding is like, you know, just hearing the sounds, like especially like, you know, as you like scrape on rails and dude, like hitting concrete features, like that is like the absolute like ASMR, right? But like, every rail, even like just carving around the water, like all of it, that like audio side of things is so huge, at least for me. So it's something that I've wanted to like incorporate in my videos for ages. And I think like 5 or 6 years ago, I did some stuff mic'd up. It's probably like the earliest that I'd really kind of came up with a concept for doing it. I did a video with JB where he's like, just chatting shit and riding around or whatever, but couldn't quite get it to like how I wanted it. But more recently, I guess I've kind of like figured out something that I'm happy with, and I feel like it's actually like doing justice to the thing. So yeah, I've been dropping a couple of YouTube videos, got more on the way. But the whole idea, I guess, behind it is that like not only do you get the sound of the riding, but the rider can kind of talk as well and show a bit of their personality, which is another thing that I feel like, I don't know, it's difficult to get people's personalities across, especially in a way that's not corny. I think what you're doing is like a really sick way of like bringing people out, but like, bringing that out of people. But not everyone wants to like, or has the attention span to like listen to a whole podcast.
Yeah.
And even for me, it's like, I'd much rather like, again, no disrespect to you, what you do is sick. But for me personally, I'd much rather watch wakeboarding than talk about wakeboarding.
Yeah.
Like, even if I'm in the conversation, I just want to like, just want to be there doing either, watching it or doing it. So I guess I've tried to like incorporate the two of them where people can like, kind of like have a little chat, like, even if it's just telling you what features they're going to hit. But I feel like hopefully for some people, they'll really enjoy that content because it's kind of like,
I think it's sick. Because you've posted what, 2? I watched the one with Riley recently, and then there was one before that, right?
Yeah, I've done one with Dan, and the first one was Claw.
Okay. Yeah. I saw the one with Dan. I don't think I saw the one with Claudia, but just like it's. I think it works best because you're talking to them rather than it's like a conversation rather than it's because you've seen the mic'd up things before, right? Where it's like course preview or whatever, and it's like just one person. It's like, okay, that's good, but the conversation is really what makes you like sit down and like, oh, this is sweet.
Yeah. So I've done a few where it's just the rider talking, and then trying to incorporate more of the conversational ones. It ends up like it's difficult because like right now we can sit here and have a chat, but like when you're actually riding, like it's a lot to ask of the rider.
Well,
like,
you're both doing things that are like kind of difficult, right? You're flying the drone and he's riding.
Yeah. So. Like, I'm definitely like it is hard to speak, like at least to speak eloquently while you're flying a drone. Like
I can imagine.
And maybe that's just because I suck at it, but like it's like there's a lot going on, and you're activating like a whole different part of your brain, and then you're trying to be like have a conversation and stuff. It's not. It's never going to be on the same level as like sitting down here and having a chat.
Yeah.
But I also think on the other side, hopefully it brings out people's personalities a bit more. I'm thinking about calling this whole thing wet ones, like as in like
hot ones, wet ones.
Yeah. And the whole thing with hot ones, right, is that like, you're smashing spicy wings. You're so distracted that maybe like, hopefully you sort of open up a bit and your personality shines through.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess the idea is maybe that people get so distracted with
I think we saw it with Riley's. There was a couple moments where Riley was definitely distracted and he said some very interesting things.
For sure. And that's the stuff that
Which is what you want. That's what you want.
It's like you and I get to like experience this all the time because like we're hanging at contests, sitting down with people, but you get to see all these like, all these riders, and there's so many sick personalities out there. There's so many like, just rad people. But if you were someone that just watched wakeboarding and weren't like in the scene, but you've like, you're watching wakeboard content, you don't see any of that. Like you don't get to like see that person for who they are. And yeah, I'm hoping that it can sort of like bring out some of those things and like, cause yeah, like Riley's a really funny dude. Like, but I don't know if like someone just discovering wakeboarding for the first time, they might not have the opportunity to see that.
The odds of them actually hanging out with Riley or any of these riders is really low.
Yeah, sure.
Unless they're in it for years and years and years and having to stumble onto them in a contest. 100%. But like the odds of being able to see a video is super easy for them. Like, and that's a natural way to kind of discover someone's personality, whereas like some stuff is more forced of like a Q&A. It's like, well, I'm not getting to know you. Like these are just like your media scripted answers or whatever. So
totally.
That's cool. I'm definitely excited to hear more of those. I'm glad to hear that you're like kind of, I feel like jumping back into the YouTube thing a little bit. I mean,
a little bit. Yeah.
You kind of took a little hiatus or something.
Yeah, I guess like, I don't know, like, we'll talk about this. Like, I don't want to be a downer. This is one of those things where like, I want this to be a fun podcast and shit, but basically like I've kind of taken a hiatus from a lot of stuff. Like I've not really, a lot of people ask me all the time about, like, when's your next project coming out? Like what you working on? And to be honest, like I haven't been able to like work on a lot. Like I'm still, you know, obviously like doing lots of contests and that sort of thing. But life kind of took a bit of a turn. Like both my parents have been kind of like quite ill for like a couple of years now. And then my mum, I guess, got diagnosed with a rare form of dementia, and she went from like basically overnight from being completely healthy and completely sound to being like severely, you know, mentally impaired. And I haven't got any brothers or sisters, like there isn't any other family or anything, so it kind of falls on me, you know, it's my responsibility to look after her, which, you know, it's one of those things, it's like I've been so lucky to get to travel the world and do this thing and be involved in wakeboarding so much. And, you know, the travel especially was like such a sick thing. And now it's kind of like suddenly flipped on its head where it's become like a little bit of not a burden, but, you know, it's like I need to spend more time at home. And trying to justify, you know, spending a month shooting a project somewhere away from home, probably barely earning minimum wage once you add in all the, like, you know, the time that goes into it and all that sort of stuff, it's kind of hard to justify. So yeah, I've been at home a lot. I did luckily get to go out to Thailand for a little bit. We had the LF shoot this winter. And so I kind of took that opportunity to film a few of these videos. It's something that's been like kind of in my mind for a while. But the idea is it's something I can also like I can do while I'm at home. You know, there's so many good riders in the UK, so I'm gonna smash out a bunch of videos there in the coming weeks, hopefully. So it's kind of like I definitely have taken a bit of hiatus, but I'm trying to find ways that I can still sort of, you know, make stuff that I'm stoked on and I guess like keep contributing to wakeboarding, hopefully, and make some cool shit.
I think you don't need to worry about contributing to wakeboarding. I think you've contributed a metric fuck ton, I think, is a easy way to put it.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
That's good though. So, I mean, I feel like that's just kind of shifts, like a little less travel, spending some more time at home, and just that's kind of the way life goes sometimes.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But yeah, that's good. So sorry to hear that about your parents. I didn't know that either. So
it's you know, it's one of those things. Like a lot of people don't know about it. I guess in a way, it's kind of good to talk about it publicly because it's like then I don't have to, you know, like. I don't really want to have that conversation.
Maybe you don't have to explain it so many damn times.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, it's again, it's a bit of a bummer. It's like, you know, no one like, there's no real like response you can give to it or anything. And like at the end of the day, like, yeah, I just like, I don't know. The thing I love about wakeboarding is like everyone's so like positive about shit and stoked all the time, and you know it kind of feels like you're sucking the air out of the room to.
Well, you got to be real too, though, because real life happens. You know, like it's everybody goes through real shit, so that's good. I'm glad that you did share that because that's very important. All right, so let's kind of shift gears a little bit because you're talking about filming contests. You're getting back into the content a little bit, but you touched on filming contests. I want you to run the people through a day in the life of like a full hands-on deck contest because probably a lot of people don't see a LAO, and if they do, or a contest like that, you pretty much are head down, like running all over the place with a table full of batteries and like a couple drones or whatever. So run the people through like what you actually have to do and go through on like a full contest day where you're ripping the drone.
Let me see.
Wake up, take a shit.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
the Jules Sherrod special.
You got to make sure you're light, you know, like you got to shed some weight early in the morning. Like,
you're airborne,
exactly. Yeah. I don't want to be weighing myself down. Yeah. I mean, like they're usually pretty early starts. Langenfeld's kind of a funny one because like, you know, I filmed some of the practices, but like for the most part now they're focused on the live stream and they want to keep that to a condensed, like, you know, very short thing. So actually this time I was very lucky, like got to, you know, just chill out and catch up with people a little bit in the morning. But yeah, normally it's like pretty early starts, getting everything set up. It is a lot of batteries. It's a lot of gear. Get everything ready. And then pretty much at some point the contest will start. And about 10 minutes before that, I'll plug in. I'll like, you know, assume the position and go into the matrix. And then often I'm there for like, you know, maybe 10, maybe I think like the worst case, I think I did like 14-hour days, 4 days straight. You know, because contests do overrun. Like the cable breaks down, stuff happens, people aren't ready, whatever. So yeah, sometimes they can be like pretty long, pretty brutal days. But you know, but I still enjoy the fuck out of it.
How many batteries? For LAO, let's say.
It depends on the drone. You mean like how many times have I? Because like, Yeah, I've got a bank of like, I don't know, maybe 10 of them for that particular drone. But you're just, you're cycling through and cycling through. For LAO, I don't know, maybe went through like 30 or something.
And you're just taking it off the charger and then putting it back on the charger? That's how that's going? Okay, and you're just cycling through. Yeah. You don't have a pit boss or like a pit man, like a pit crew?
That's the dream, I guess. Yeah, one day, like when the money starts rolling in.
You get a little Grommet in there, dude. Just have them crank through the batteries for you. Bring you some grapes,
Yeah. It's one of those things, it's like, I don't know. Partly this is just me, but like, I wouldn't want to be relying on someone else in that situation. Yeah. Because I know mentally it's like, right, okay, I've charged this many. I need to put this one there.
You're just dialed in.
I've got there's also like the goggles battery, the controller battery. There's all these different things you're trying to manage. Like, are you filling up the SD card? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And like, I'm pretty comfortable just managing all that in my head. I'm dialed. Yeah. Someone else is probably just going to introduce like more chaos, which like, I don't really
Especially at the beginning, it's going to be this weird learning curve. And it's a contest. Like, you can't fuck up, right? Like, especially 100%. On a live stream, like LAO live stream, you can't miss the shot.
No,
like you're not redoing finals. This isn't a video you're filming for.
That'd be great. It's like, guys, like,
some of the riders would probably be stoked too.
Maybe we should do like a vote system. Like, if enough riders are pissed off and I didn't get the shot, then
we run it back.
Yeah, easy.
How to beat Trent Stuckey 101. All right, so I guess kind of compare and contrast contest filming versus like filming for a video part. Like, immediately what comes to my mind is like some of the stuff you've done with Pedro, a lot of other riders too, but like you touched on contests and, kind of the hecticness of that. Like, what's it compare and contrast with just free riding filming?
Yeah, it's definitely like a completely different thing. And it's, I don't know, like I definitely love the free ride side of things more, whether that's, for me as a filmer or for me as like someone, as a spectator of wakeboarding. Like, that's always been what I've been into. Like, since I first got into wakeboarding, like the things that stoked me out the most was, like just watching people's video parts and like seeing I guess to me, wakeboarding is more like aesthetics than sport. Like, the competition's absolutely got a place, and it's sick for me to like be a part of all these competitions. It's great to show like who's the best on a given day. And I do think like at its very peak, like contest riding can produce something amazing, which is like, someone doing like a full line of like an entire lap of a cable park and doing that flawlessly. Like, which, Trent's racked up a few of those by now, but like, to see a line that long and that perfect, and to do it under pressure in like,
it's cool.
When it's pretty sick. But as a general thing, what I love about wakeboarding is watching people free ride, like watching people do a trick in like the best way possible, or like, putting down an MBD or whatever it is. But like, so for me, like I'd say I definitely enjoy that side of things more. And it does tend to be a bit more like, a bit more laid back, I guess there's more pressure in the sense of like, you don't want to miss someone's final run, and then whoever's employing me to be there filming a contest is going to be pretty pissed. But at the same time, like, someone's putting their life on the line to put an MBD down. If you miss the shot, then like, that's almost worse, because that's your friend that you've like, and they've just like done maybe the sickest thing they've ever done, and they've genuinely risked their life like at some gnarly winch spot. And if you fuck it up, like, that's way worse. Right? Yeah,
it's more personal too.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Have you ever? I mean, how many of those shots you messed up? You ever messed up any like big ones that come to mind?
No, like,
it's
nothing.
The king right there. This is the king.
I mean, there's definitely be a couple here and there. I guess like for the really big stuff, like, it's been fun. But I mean, sometimes you have like technological malfunction or whatever. Like, sometimes I'll like not quite frame something like how I want to. You're never gonna get it perfect. There's always something better that you can do. So like, I'm never happy with what I do, but I think like in a healthy way, in a sort of like, okay, like, that was cool, but like for next time, I can definitely like,
here's what we're gonna improve on a little bit.
But yeah, luckily, like, never cooked it on any like seriously major stuff. So like, happy about that. Oh, I did actually, probably the worst one. Oh my god, I had one with oh fuck, I don't know if I can talk about this.
Oh, you can just not name the trick.
Yeah,
wait, is it not released yet?
I just don't know if he's like if he's put it out separately, or whether he's still
Is it Busty done Toeback 14?
No, sadly
Because he
not.
hasn't landed that yet.
No, I can't talk about that one. Sorry.
All right, that's
Just in
I
case.
like that though. That's good.
Dude, like you got to keep shit under wraps.
Well,
because
it's
the
exciting.
name of the game.
It's exciting, dude. Come on, that's good. But you almost fucked it up, or you did fuck it up.
Yeah, no, did fuck up.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, like camera fucked up.
Oh, okay.
But like, I mean, yeah, I guess I probably should have like tested the camera first. It was one of those like it just kind of randomly went down at the last minute. I ran to get the camera. I ran down, and then like I had some SD card error, which like if I'd had time to sit down and prepare, I could have like
Perfect world.
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes it doesn't work out.
Diving back in, I think we had a guest question from none other than Joe Battleday.
Hey Dave, hope you're doing well, mate. I've got a quick question for you. It's actually a two-part question. First part, because of the nature of what you do, you probably spend more time watching wakeboarding than anyone. What would you like to see more of? And the second part is, what is your favourite trick you've ever filmed on the drone?
Oof.
Yeah, some heat on the second one there.
Yeah, sure. That's going to take some thinking about as well.
What would you like to see more of? We'll start there.
What would I like to see more of? Just video parts in general. Yeah, I know that's a bit of a cop-out answer.
No, I don't think that's a cop-out answer at all. I stand by that one.
All right, so yeah, it just like I don't know. It's I get there are reasons or whatever. There's not a whole lot of people watching video parts, but I do feel like if the brand's got a bit more behind them, then yeah, I think I don't know. It would be great to see more people focusing on that side of riding still, and I feel that would actually benefit the sport. Or I almost feel like weird about calling wakeboarding a sport, but yeah, I don't know. I think that would benefit wakeboarding as a whole. I just think it would be really sick if there could be more of that, because like I don't know, that's what got me hooked on wakeboarding. So there's got to be other people out there that like would also find that same sort of stoke.
High effort video parts. I put that caveat in there.
All right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think there was an assumption that like but you're right.
I wanted to
you're
make
right.
it black and white.
There's a lot of people that like maybe wouldn't catch that. Yes, yeah. Like obviously, like it should hopefully go without saying. Like video parts where you actually like make an effort.
You hold the clips for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it
like,
out. All right, I like that. That's a good answer. Favorite trick? Can you think of this one right now?
This is really tough because there's like I don't know. There's just so many and there's always like the next thing. I just filmed one yesterday that I'm pretty hyped on. But yeah, man, I don't know. That is really, really tough.
Because I mean, how many of Trent's NBDs did you film?
A fair few.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. That's it. So it's I'm
and then Pedro, you've got a lot of Pedro shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And they've all like kind of, I don't know, in their own way, each one's got its own sort of like, it's like a story and a time and a place and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think there's one that stands out as like, oh, that was like the crazy thing. I think there's a lot been like at the time, I was like, wow, that's insane. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen, and I got to film it. But yeah, I guess probably the first one of those was Liam doing the double Pete. That was kind of the first like really heavy MBD that I'd filmed, and so that was pretty sick to be a part.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but that's not I wouldn't say that's like it's not the craziest.
Yeah.
Like at this point in time, and there've been so many, but like that was the first one where I was really like, oh yo, like and you get the feeling of like I got the clip, like that's so sick. I'm like I was here to capture that.
Yeah, you're part of it. Yeah, you're part of it. Okay,
in a small way.
That's a good one. I like that. I think we talk a little bit more about, filming and drone riding and stuff, or filming with the drone while you're filming riding. So I want to know, like, what makes somebody a good drone filmer? Because there's a lot of people who do film drone. And I'm curious from an expert's perspective, the king, Davey Drones, what makes someone good at it?
King of
what
quad,
are some
baby.
qualities?
Okay. I don't want to give away my secrets, bro.
Okay, what makes someone bad?
Okay, I feel like one thing that I've always tried to focus on, and one thing that, if you're talking about, I guess, like bad drone footage, I mean, it's all just repetition in terms of like the ability to, to film well, to not be jerky, to sort of like, keep things smooth and all that. That's kind of like, that just comes with time.
Yeah.
But one thing I always try and avoid is like, I never want the drone to be the center of attention. I never want people to think, yo, sick drone shot. Inevitably, sometimes they will, but like, what I want is for people to just experience the trick in like the purest possible way. So for me, it's about like, I don't really want anyone to go like, oh man, like that guy's so sick with that thing. Like, look at it. Like, I want them to almost like forget that there's even a drone there.
Yeah.
And so like my focus is always just trying to like, what's the angle and what's the approach and everything that's going to like show off the trick in like the best possible way that people get to really see like how sick it is. So doing the opposite of that, which I do see a lot, you know.
Yeah, so like some FPV shit, right? Where like you're flying through things off axis, basically making you dizzy. Like that would be the opposite, where you're thinking, oh, that guy is so sick on the drone. It's like you can't even tell what's going on the wakeboard hardly.
100%. And that's not to say that you can't incorporate that, and
Sure.
and there's a way that like that actually shows off a certain trick in the best possible way. But for the most part, I see people like, you know, just like flying around in circles or like, trying to do like flippy stuff. And it's like, I just want to watch the guy ride. Like, and I can't really, I'm having to fucking like crane my head round to try and appreciate what the trick is and stuff. So that's, that for me is like what I try and avoid.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think that's like a very, I don't know if humble's the right way to put it, but like very professional way of like, I'm here to make the wakeboarder look the best. I'm not here to like show off my drone skills,
Sure.
Which you are in a sense showing off your drone skills by making it all about the wakeboarder, but that's a very selfless way to do that. And I think that definitely comes through because like you probably have filmed the most drone out of anybody in wakeboarding. I mean, I don't think it would be particularly close.
I guess so. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like, yeah, probably
so
by this point.
When you see drone footage on Instagram, like I can tell when it's yours. I feel like even before I look at like the video credit, just because I've seen so much of it, I'm like, yeah, this is like, I can tell it's Dave's because I can tell that I'm not thinking about the drone as much as I am about watching the riding.
Okay, sick.
Which is like probably what you're going for.
That's music to me.
Just glazing you right now here. So that's
Appreciate
great.
it, bro.
So we've got a lot of questions on setup. So I think we combine board setup with drone setup. So let's go. Let's start with the drone setup, then we'll dive into what you ride.
Okay. Drone setup kind of changes. Like I use a bunch. Again, it's sort of like, you know, it's whatever's going to get the shot in the best way. I told you I'm in town. I'm in between like Malibu events. Been shooting a lot with the Mavic 4 Pro, which just came out. Because like a lot of the focus of what I'm putting out in those events is like, you know, making the boats look sick. And as much as like there's a role for like the FPV stuff and everything. That's a really useful tool because it's got a great sensor on it. It's got like a bunch of different lenses. It's so I was using that pretty heavily this last weekend. But then I fly the FPV a lot. That's you know, there are certain times when that's like the only thing I would want to use. So I guess and then I got like, I don't even know how many drones I've got, honestly. But there's like a bunch of different tools for different situations. Yeah. But that's what it is. It's a tool ultimately.
Sure.
Like not really like one particular setup, just whatever's the right tool for the job. But so fun fact for everyone at home. Like I don't know how many people know this, but like the AV is not actually like audio visual or aerial video or any of those things you think it is. It's just my name.
Yeah.
It's
it's genius marketing though. Accidental,
yeah.
Some of the best.
I wouldn't go as far as say genius because completely accidental. But yeah, I mean, I guess I got pretty lucky with that.
It's great.
I do sometimes think Davy Drones would have been better. It's got a nice ring to it. You know, I could put that on like on signage and that would look pretty sick.
Dave AV is very professional though.
Okay,
you're working with these big boat brands.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, they don't want Davy Drones. You know, coming out. They want Dave AV.
Because he's a pirate, right? So it's like you don't want to employ a pirate.
Sink your boat, you know, sink your ship. David Jones Locker. All right, let's do your setup on the wakeboard here. What do we got here?
All right, so we have got the White X Madison White's Pro model. This is weird because the bookshelf's in the way, so I can't actually see it. I feel like I should.
The camera can see it. Like, you can't see it.
Okay. I'm just like, and I'm running the mojitos. We've got a tiny little bit of duck on those.
Yeah, you're pretty straight on though.
Yeah, pretty much. Like just enough to where like it doesn't screw my knees up of the kickers, but I do like it pretty straight just for like, I don't know, when you're pressing or when you're on rails, I'd much rather have that nice like, you know, almost completely horizontal sort of setup. So yeah, seems to be working all right at the moment.
What about the shirt? What's up with the shirt here?
Oh yeah, so that's,
we need the story on the shirt.
I mean, there's not like a huge story. Basically, like I was in Thailand, just looking for a stupid riding shirt, and happened to. I guess I was looking for like the ugliest one possible. Think I did a pretty good job in terms of
It kind of matches the board a little bit,
weirdly
in a way, right?
Yeah. So that wasn't the board I was riding, like, because that came out since, the YX only just got released last year. So yeah, it just happens to kind of like match perfectly with the board. But yeah, I kind of just was looking for the ugliest possible shirt in a market in Thailand. Paid 200 baht for that bad boy, which is overpriced, but comes to about like $5 or something. So
it's still not a lot.
Yeah. So I'd say pretty good deal all in all. I should have haggled, but I was just like, you know what, like, you probably use the money. And this is clearly what I've been looking for this whole time. So
it seems like it's held up pretty well.
It has actually, yeah. I had to, I was about to say I got my girlfriend to re-sew one of the buttons because I don't know how to sew. That's one of those things I feel like I probably should have learned by now, but we'll figure that out. But yeah, so just replace one of the buttons. Other than that, she's held up pretty well, and she's been through some stuff, which is kind of why it's become my go-to. What
happened?
So basically, last year at Langenfeld. Yeah, had a bit of an incident. My board, and to be fair, it's largely my fault. I left my board out the whole time because I had this like crazy idea that I would try and ride at some point around the contest, and like it never really works out.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
you have to bring the board.
Yeah,
you have to,
because otherwise you're not a
wakeboarder. You're not a wakeboarder.
Exactly. Yeah. I guess I'm a bit of a lifestyler because I'm just rocking up with a board that I'm not riding. But
you could ride it.
Yeah, I could. There's a remote chance. Unfortunately, like I think I maybe got like 5 laps in, but yeah, you get busy. You're filming the contest. Yeah. Like I'm working at the end of the day, so the board sat out for like the whole time. So yeah, kind of my bad. It's just sat there. And I guess like I'm still editing in the evening. Came down in the morning after the party and everything to grab my board and think about getting to the airport. And she's nowhere to be found. So start searching. Didn't have any luck. Walked all around the lake, thinking maybe one of the Peacock brothers decided to get drunk and steal it, because that's definitely a thing that could have happened. Or any of the boys really. But yeah, no, she was gone, and I had to like Flo and Benny, the Seuses, like were very gracious about letting me go through all the CCTV footage and trying to track down what the hell happened. And we discovered that this guy had like kind of snuck in while the party was going on, and he was like, he was cruising for something, because you see him like kind of walking around. He's got the shifty eyes on. He's like looking what's on the ground, and at some point he sits down next to my board with all my stuff on it, and he puts down like his board bag, and then he sits there for about like 5 minutes, and we scrub through the security footage, and then at some point he kind of like he grabs the board bag, puts it over my board so it's covered, and then kind of like just acts all casual for a little bit, and then slyly like tucks it in. So while like basically I've got a flight to catch, so we get the CCTV footage. I put it on my phone. I'm like trying to edit it, and it's like it's the most potato quality. Like, and this is no dig on Langenfeld.
Well,
like,
at least they have CCTV.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. But like the camera, it's got a wide area to cover. So I've had to punch in so much, and it's dark and
enhance.
Exactly. Yeah, like full CSI on this thing. If I'd have not been like, a video professional, I don't know if I would have got the quality of the foot, because I had to like do so much to like bump up the brightness, but then not like completely destroy the footage and whatever. But managed to get it where it was like you could potentially recognize who this dude was. And I'm like at the airport by this point, like got the video ready. I thought there's no real better way than just to put it online and be like, hey, someone must have recognized this guy. Has anyone seen this dude? And I'd put a few clips of him like kind of, shiftily walking around and taking the board. Within like, I'd say about 10 minutes, I probably had like 6 people had messaged me with, it's this guy, like with his at, like he'd been there the whole time. He'd been like hanging with everyone, like, just generally kind of like being weird by the sounds of it. So he was like quite memorable to a lot of people. And so he got identified. And then I was like, I didn't want to like put the guy on blast or anything. Like,
just want your stuff back.
Yeah, like it was a shitty thing to do, but like people make mistakes or whatever. Like I'm not gonna, I didn't want to like people to get the pitchforks out. So I didn't name him.
Yeah.
Someone started doing it in the comments, and I think I deleted it because I was just like, dude, come on. I don't want this guy to get like, but basically, yeah, I told the guys at Langenfeld, and they were like, right, leave it with us. We're on the case. And they evidently managed to sort it because later that night, I think probably at like 5 a.m. or something, the guy mysteriously they never saw the guy, but he comes back and all the stuff is just left on the front gate at Langenfeld. Like he's driven through the night to come and drop it all back. So basically the reason we got onto this, and I wasn't too bothered about the board. Like obviously, it would be nice not to lose that, but at the same time, like the one thing that I really wanted was my cat shirt, because like I can't just like hop straight back on a flight to Thailand and get another. And I might never
Who knows if
find
it's
it again.
if it's
Like,
even
for real.
one off.
Like I mean, like that is just some random lady in a stall in like the middle of nowhere in Thailand. So, I was pretty keen to get it back, and sure enough, there she was, just hanging on the fence. I think Ryan brought it back with him. So we've been through some like history now. I've ridden a bunch in it. I've even like I guess done a couple of like minor MBDs or whatever. So it's like now at this point, it's kind of the shirt has a bit of a connection with me, and I'm trying to keep her going as long as possible. This is another one of those things where like, so we just, now everyone's going to ride dead straight in front of me at the cable.
Yep.
And now everyone's going to be like just racing to steal that.
If the dead straight in the cable, don't do that. But if you steal Dave's shirt, I'm coming after you. I'm coming after.
All right.
We're sicking everybody on.
Appreciate it,
So
brother.
don't fuck with the shirt. That's for sure. But also definitely don't ride in front of him on the cable. All right. So you touched on MBDs. You just said minor MBDs. I've got some stuff written down.
Okay.
But I want to hear it.
I didn't want to like.
I want to hear it from the source.
Okay.
This is the Dave AV podcast. Let's hear some MBDs.
No, my mind's gone blank. I got nothing.
No, that's not true. Nose press.
Okay. Oh, we're going deep on this.
Did you invent the nose press?
I believe, and obviously I can't prove this. Someone's going to come out of the woodwork. I believe I did the first surface nose press, as in nose press in the water.
Yes.
I've yet to see anyone like counter that claim. So I'm claiming it.
I think by now it would have been countered. I mean, this wouldn't have happened in the old boat days.
No.
So, this isn't, it would have had to be recent history.
Dude, to do that behind the boat, you would have to have balls of
It'd be
steel.
mental.
Like,
I don't even know if it would work.
No, probably not.
Like, you need the
there's not enough flex.
There's not any flex. Okay, so that's one. Hit me with another one, because I know there's more. I know there's more.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, like I didn't even want to get into this, and like I did.
You said that.
And I should. As soon as it left my lips, I was like, oh, I regret saying this. Like I did preface it with minor, at least, right?
See, the thing is, I don't know if you can do that. It's either an MBD or it's not.
Yeah, but it's not like, I mean, there's MBDs that actually matter, and there's like,
like a water nose
and there's
press.
what I'm doing. yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, fine. We'll say minor MBDs.
Okay. What have I done? Like I guess S-bend to back tail butter.
That was in
one of them.
The Dutt movie, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got fucking smoked on that.
There was the worst thing is with that, and I feel like this is the case with like, people don't appreciate, but this is how it goes a lot of the time when you're shooting a project or filming a trick. The one I got smoked on was after I'd already landed the clip. You know what I mean? Like
the after goes.
You always, especially with something like that, you can always go a little bit more pressed. You can get like a little
greedy.
bit more.
Yeah,
like
you always get greedy because you're like, oh, I landed it, I did it.
Yeah, no, now I can do it every time,
and I can do
but
it
like,
better.
but I can do it better. Like, yeah, so yeah, kind of like lesson learned, I guess, on that. And then also in that movie, I did S to like, I guess, like S Mobe butter, you could call, or like S bend 270. Like front 270. So those technically count, I guess.
What about at the Thai Wake Park pipes? Did you do like a 90210 or something?
Oh yeah. I don't think that even got filmed, but yeah, I did like rail to rail. Isn't that an MBD? Probably no one's been like stupid enough to do it. Like
yeah.
A lot of I guess a lot of my kind of mentality going into riding at this point is that I started late, as we already touched on. I'm in no danger of ever like competing or sort of being up there among the pros or anything. But I guess like wakeboarding is still young, and there's still a lot of opportunities to like. There's still stuff that hasn't been done. sometimes you've got to think out of the box a little bit. But like, I would much rather spend my time taking a ton of back edges, like doing some dumb buttery shit, but something that's not been done before, versus being another guy that can do like, you know, a toe back 9. Yeah. Like, I mean, who cares? Like, if you're not even grabbing it, like, I could spend like ages.
You could grind away at it, but you're gonna leave it and be like, huh.
Well, tick that box. Like, yeah, like no one's gonna be stoked on it, but yeah, like I don't know. So I've kind of like I've really focused on just, and even if it's not like trying to do MBDs, just doing weird shit. Like I'm just for me that's like way more fun. So yeah, I
was talking to Gavin, and he wants to know what made you try the switch double tantrum, and if you're claiming NBD on that as well.
I mean, well, again, like
that would be legit. Has anybody done switch double tantrum?
As far as I'm aware, no.
That's a big one.
I've asked a few people. Yeah, I mean, like from the people I've asked, I don't think so. Yeah. So that would probably be my one, like, you know, legit one.
Yeah.
And again, it's a case of like someone should have landed that already. Like it's mental to me. Like I did it not knowing that it was MBD, and I think Gav was the first one to be like, "Hey, has anyone done that before?" So basically, what happened is this was like during filming Sincerely Trent, and so we had like the massive booter at Lake Ronix. And yeah, at some point, I don't even think it was my idea to do a double. I think the boys were just gassing me up about like, and we'd been hitting Wendy's a lot, and they have like the Dave's Double burger, and like, and Gav kept going like, "Oh, dude, Dave's Double, like you got to do it, like it's a sign."
It kind of is.
I mean, true. So yeah, at some point I was like, all right, like, I'm gonna huck a double. Like, there's not really much else I'm doing that's cool on this setup. I might as well just like hit the
and that thing was just made for it, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely like, you know, on easy mode or whatever. Yeah. So the plan was I'll do my first ever double, toe side double back roll. Like it's the kicker for you. I guess you don't really necessarily see on the footage. It is like over to the side of the cable, so it's on like it's effectively like on the right hand side, like it's a right kicker. So yeah, toe double back roll. Toe side back roll is like widely considered, I guess either that or half cab is, you know, the sort of like the double, the go-to sort of like, you know, my first double sort of thing. So I'm like, okay, sweet. I got that all day. I've been at ODub. I've been like, you know, chucking a few, as in like chucking single ones, but like, you know, just like tucking and like filling her out. And at some point, I guess while I was riding ODub, I tried to body drag. I tried to do the full, like, you know, Graeme style, you know, like, oh yeah, this is easy. I'll just get back up or whatever, like fully like laid out after I'd fallen on something. And I tore my pec so badly. And it was hurting pretty bad, but I was like, you know, we went down, we had maybe like a few days of filming left. And I was like, okay, this is the day we're doing this. And it was hurting. As soon as I started and like went down the bit of the bi-level, like I was like, okay, it's hurting, but like it'll be fine. And there's a clip somewhere in like on a hard drive somewhere of me trying this total back roll, but like just ripping my pec even more midair. So I do one flip and then you just hear like so I just like, and then obviously just get bodied because I've like, you know, there's no way I'm like continuing to tuck for the thing. So I kind of had to go back to like square one, I guess. Square one, that was good.
That's great.
If I'd have meant that would have been fucking genius. But yeah, so I had to go back to drawing board, and I can't switch Mexi. Like I shouldn't admit to that. I usually pride myself on being able to do everything like both sides. Yeah. Switch Mexi has evaded me for like this entire time. It's a weird one,
dude.
Yeah, I'd clip the rope.
I think switch tantrum's a weird one personally, but
it was at first. Yeah. Like it definitely like, and I was pretty stoked when I did even like my first switch tantrum because I was like, oh, sick. Like I don't think a lot of people can do this, and like yeah, it was a struggle to get it, but then when I finally like kind of figured it out, I was like, okay, got this down. So yeah, I guess like switch Mexi was like completely out of the equation. I wasn't gonna do like toe front roll either, because like especially on that kicker, like if you rode it, like yeah, I feel like anyone would understand. It's like very. I mean, Trent can do it, but he's Trent. That just scared the shit out of me. So it's like I guess we're doing switch double tanny, and yeah, like it was never like the plan, but I guess afterwards, the more I've talked to people, it doesn't seem like anyone did it. So accidental NBD. There you go.
You have more NBDs than a lot of people then.
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, it's weird sort of putting it like that, but yeah, sure. I guess so. Yeah.
I love it. So we'll get into some more riding clips later, but so you touched on Madison's board that you're riding. And I think it's a good time we dive into a guest question from Madison White.
Uh-oh.
You keep saying "uh-oh," but
Yeah,
none
no,
of these
I'm
are
like-
really. I expected some heat. Maybe I should have.
I'm hearing the names and I'm like, oh, how much dirt has this person got on me? This
A lot, probably, but didn't bring anything in.
hell yeah.
Hey Dave, it's Madison. My question for you is, do you think that the big board trend is fading? I'd love to know what your take is on people choosing their board size by what feels right on the water over the classic, I weigh X amount and I'm this tall, so I really need this specific size board. Do you think the board size people ride has a big impact on the way that they ride?
Interesting one from Madison.
Very good question, I feel
That's a
like.
very good question.
Yeah. Yeah, I've kind of been all over the place, really. Like I've definitely, I've tried to not accept the status quo on anything and just kind of like feel out always like what feels good. And I've gone kind of up and down. There was a point when I was doing a lot of buttery shit, surface nose press. I was riding a Boont. Shout out to Boont, by the way. But they made at the time like the flexiest board ever. So that also helped a lot. That's a sort of I had some assistance with the trick.
They don't ask how, they ask how many.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, like I've ridden up to like even like 160s, and I'm sitting down right now. So for the viewers at home, I'm not a tall man.
He's 6'2".
I think I'm roughly about 4 foot nothing. So it's it's like the 160 I think is legitimately taller than me. Like
Yeah,
it's,
I think,
it's just kind of towering above me. But like, but still fun. Like I had I don't know, depending on what you're doing, like I had some fun with that board. I also like recently, as we've kind of like dipped into, like I never really enjoyed air tricks that much because again, I feel like unless you've been doing it for a long time, you're not doing anything that everyone else at the cable can't do.
Yeah.
Right. And it was only when I kind of like figured out, let's do like air tricks to butters and stuff. I was like, now I've got something that like actually makes me want to do these because it gives me some excitement. So then I've kind of like, in recent years, I guess like kind of shortened down again. It depends what you're doing, man. Like nose presses are way easier on a short board. I feel like the release for air tricks is obviously like, just it's a lot nicer when you don't have a ton of weight, like just hanging around. But at the same time, like I'm definitely trying to preserve my knees as long as possible. And so like a little bit of length is pretty sick for that. So yeah, I'm kind of a in-betweeny person. Don't listen to like trends. Don't just blindly follow what everyone else does. Just like ride a bunch of boards, see what feels good for you, and do that.
I like that you said that at the end there, the trend. So what are you on now? You're on 147?
Actually, I've been riding on 149. This one, because I don't trust the airlines to not completely like destroy my boards. I brought that's my old one, which has been like kind of been through it a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was 147 and I'm on a 149.
Okay, so that's kind of typical right now. So I guess dive into a little bit more of what you mean by don't just follow the trends. As in like there was a big board trend for a while. I feel like there still is a little bit, but I think Madison's probably right where it's like kind of fading away a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess how do you feel about that? Dive into it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, people should just do what they want. Like, big boards are cool. Like, I think it's good that we've gone through that. I definitely think, in general, over the last years, like stances have kind of like narrowed, obviously, and that I think is a good thing. I do think there was a while when I was riding like insanely skinny stance, like basically like stood right up. I think probably around the time that we were at Seat Up together, that like at the time I was enjoying that because again like the thing that was getting me hyped was like buttery shit, and I was just like that was kind of like the kick that I was on at that time. But I think if you're doing it just because your friends tell you, or just because like you think one rider is cool and they happen to like ride that stance, you gotta, at the end of the day, it's like you need to feel what's right for you.
Yeah, turn your brain on. Think for yourself.
Yeah.
Like do your thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Take influence, but do your thing.
100%. And I see like I was talking. I'm staying with the Stuckeys at the moment. I was talking to Jason Stuckey about this last night, about like kind of people online and these like kind of communities. There's like the our Wake like Reddit community, which basically like doesn't really exist as a community. There's not really like it's kind of a shame, but there's no one really on there. But the only thing you see is people asking what boat should I buy and what board setup should I get, and people want you to tell them like, okay, this is exactly what you should ride. I've never seen you ride. I don't know like what tricks you like
anything
doing.
about you.
Yeah, I don't know how long you've been riding. I don't know any of this stuff. But okay, maybe I'm gonna list my weight and my height. What board should I ride? Give me the answer. And there is only one. Like, there's not one answer. Like, and even over time, you change. Like, you know, you're interested in like different stuff. So I've always been a proponent of like trying loads of different stuff and just seeing what feels good.
Yeah, try it. And I've always said try it for more than like 2 laps. Like try it until you feel like it's like, okay, I'm kind of comfortable on this board now, which might take a little bit longer than you think, but trust me, it's worth it to try the other things a lot, because that's how you learn what you actually like. No one online can tell you
exactly
this is what you're going to love. Even if you tell them like, oh, I love rail routing, I'm this height, I'm this weight, it's like, it's just not enough information. Like, you got to try it. So I
mean, this board is a case in point. So I've been riding the Chill V, like Toby's board, for years now, and love that thing. And it's I didn't really anticipate like riding anything else. And then so I guess Madison got this like this release last year, I believe. And you know, before that happened, she was like, "Oh, hey, could you have a go on this? Like, you know, I just want to get your feedback. Like, do you like it?" And I really didn't ride it thinking that I would love it.
Yeah.
Like, I was just trying to like, you know, get out and give her the best feedback I could.
Help a friend out,
yeah. And just in my own like personal view of whatever, like, yeah, like how it rides, and give her some pointers. And I just fucking loved it. Like, it just feels really good. Again, like so with this, it kind of like, it's got some side channels, which like I've always been really kind of anti any channels.
Yeah.
I don't like feeling locked in.
Yeah.
Again, like one for buttery stuff, but also just I want to feel like I'm initiating the edge. And certain boards, like you start a little bit and then suddenly
takes
it's
over.
Like, yeah. Like you're on rails. I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it feels like it's still really loose. It's still got that nice kind of like tea tray feel. You can just like fuck around in the water, but then like once you actually sink an edge in, like if you're going for an air trick or you're trying to boost up a kicker, it's got that grip to where it's not just going to like bounce around. Yeah. I've been loving it. And the flex feels really good. Like just the layout's really nice to where like for me personally, like for presses and stuff, it just feels sweet. So yeah, been loving this thing.
Sick. Shout out Madison. Sick. She got a
Shout out
board.
Madison.
That's so cool. All right. So I think we dive into a segment presented by Slingshot, the Slingshot Silhouette Challenge.
All right. I'm dreading this.
I've been making them really easy, Dave. So if you don't get this one, it's, you know, not entirely your fault, but this is presented by Slingshot. So we've blacked out the rider here. You can go ahead and pull that closer. I'll put it up on the screen for the viewers. And it's Dave's challenge to figure out who this is.
Oh, dude, you could have printed it off in slightly better quality.
No, the toner's low on the printer, and it's black and white. So right. I had to make it harder. So I'm just letting the toner get low.
For sure.
I can give you a hint, but I'm going to let you look at it for just a little bit longer.
Okay.
The stance and riding style is a, you know, decent giveaway.
Yeah.
You can narrow it down, I guess you could say.
For sure.
I think you can still see the boots on the board, so that should help.
A little bit,
It's an older photo.
Okay.
Pre-COVID.
Where is this shot? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I do not know. I do not know where that shot. Looks like America, but I don't think it is.
Huh. All right, I'm gonna need a hint because I feel like there's a few people this could be.
Do you have any names on the top of your head right now before I give you a hint? Because the one hint I have is a massive hint.
Okay. Damn, I'm really not sure. This is gonna be really.
I guess I'll give you the
like
country. Australia is where this person's from.
Okay.
Rules out Joe Battleday.
Does it though?
I
feel like he's claiming Aussie.
I feel like he looks. I feel like he's Aussie half the time I talk to him. I can never tell.
Okay.
So Australia, I can give you another hint, but I'm going to give you another second here before we reveal that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to like.
We talked about him on this pod already.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Window.
Nope.
Oh, okay. I was going to say because I didn't think that. Wait, who else did we talk about that's Australian?
Yeah, it was briefly 1440.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, red helmet.
Dude, it's you know what it is? Without that visual cue of the red, like it just
That's what I'm saying. So Busty rocks this red helmet. This is Busty Dunn, by the way. And he rocks this red helmet, and I think it's even more iconic than we thought it was.
Dude, for sure. Yeah. And so now I can see it as well because I'm trying to look at the like just the body type and stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't know. maybe this is me, but this is something I try and do when I'm like filming as well. For me, it's like the focus is always the board. You know what I mean? Like I want to see what the board is doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Like I've not like I was thinking, running through Aussies, like it's not Aaron Gunn, like it's not Window. And then when you said that, I was like, oh, that's the only person we've talked about. But yeah, now I can see it. I can definitely see it.
And the helmet. If I left the helmet
would
would
have been like
just
the most
known right
obvious
away.
giveaway. Yeah. No, fair enough.
That is thank you to Slingshot for that. So yeah, we got Busty done, little back lip action. Some people might call that a back nose, but it's back lip there. So let's talk about more filming, drone and riding. So I'm curious your thoughts on if you think you're a better filmer because you're like a very good rider. How much do you think that plays into your filming style, the ability to capture shots and tricks?
Fair. I mean,
It's probably weird to talk about yourself, but like,
yeah, I don't know if I agree with the good rider thing. I'm okay, but
Shut up, Dave.
It's okay enough to to the point where I do think it helps. Like I think I've put in enough time to where it definitely there's certain things like a lot of what I do. A lot of any filming, really, but I guess especially the drone, is predicting what's going to happen. Like, kind of, like seeing ahead of time, like where someone's going or like what they're about to do. And so, yeah, it's it definitely helps to be experienced and see, like, kind of put yourself in that position and know, oh, right, he's obviously going to do this because, like, because that's what I would be doing to set up for something. But yeah, I think like. It helps more just to be a fan of wakeboarding. I think that's and that's where you really see. I mean, I've seen this in whether it's video projects, whether it's contests, whether it's whatever. Like when people bring on board non-wakeboarders, who might be like top tier filmers, like professionals that have been doing it for their whole life. But if someone's not a wakeboarder, you immediately see that someone's not a wakeboarder in their filming. Yeah. So I think just. Whether it's being a rider or whether it's just being really into wakeboarding, that makes all the difference, I feel like.
I think it's like you're caring without having to force it because you genuinely care about it. So if you're a wakeboarder, like you're going to take the extra steps of like all these things that people might not think about because you just genuinely care about it.
Yeah.
Helps a lot. This is interesting. So we got another guest question from Trent Stuckey, and it just falling in exactly line with what you were saying about predicting what someone's going to do.
Okay.
What up, Dave? It's Trent. We've filmed together a pretty good amount in our time. Do you feel like the more you film with a rider, you almost learn their riding styles? So then, because of that, you can get better shots. Instead of reacting to what they're doing, you can almost predict what they're going to do.
Interesting.
That's a really good question. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like I say, there's a certain element of just the mechanics of wakeboarding are always like relatively the same, so there's an element of just knowing wakeboarding, but definitely like individual riders, like, yeah, you build up a sense of like, I don't know, how big someone's going to go, or whether they're going to be happy with the trick. Like we don't even necessarily need to like come and communicate because it's like I've seen how they've done something and I know how that person would want to do something. So it's like we don't even need to have a chat about, okay, like we're going to go film it again, or are they going to be stoked with that and then move on to the next thing? Yeah. And just, like I guess it helps a lot in contests where there isn't the opportunity to like sit down and say, hey, map out your exact run for me so that I can plan on where I'm being. So like definitely that you sort of build up like it's kind of cool actually, just like building up a relationship like with a rider over a certain amount of time. And Trent's a really good example. Like he says, like we've filmed a ton together. So like I definitely have like a sixth sense of, I guess, what he's going to do.
Interesting. How long is that process? Like say if you were to go film with a high level rider for the very first time that you really haven't seen that much, like how long is the learning curve of you being comfortable, like not comfortable filming them, but like almost predicting what they're going to do?
Yeah. That's really hard to say actually. And I feel like now, just because of the way things are, it's like as someone starts to show promise, like as a Grom, like usually I'll be there's not many guys that I don't end up filming with at some point. So then you sort of like, you know, you kind of start, as they start to get better, you're sort of like doing it along with them. So like, I don't know if that will like happen again. And so for me, when I first got into it and first started filming pros, I guess that was a lot to like sort of take on all at once.
Yeah.
I guess like it continues to get better. I feel like at this point there's a few guys where like there's like, I guess, diminishing returns. But yeah, the more that you it's you just get a deeper understanding of like their riding style and exactly what they're going to do. And again, it's those little things like what someone's going to be happy with, like knowing what to post, say, from a run, and knowing like, you know, if that particular person, because there's, you know, you might have two different riders. One of them might be stoked on a clip that's the exact same as another person, but they might just hate it and think that that's really whack. So like things like that kind of you build up over time.
Yeah, and that's just time in the game.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you haven't filmed that you really would love to film in wakeboarding?
Oh, dude, so many. So many. I'm gradually like, there's a few that I'm like ticking off the list.
Yeah.
Filmed with like Dean Smith out at Worlds, and that was like a big one that, you know, I thought that ship had probably sailed, but like,
no, he's still ripping.
Shout
dude.
out to Dino,
He's
fucking
still going
sending it still.
huge,
Like,
too.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's not even like it's, you know, oh, here's this legend, but like, you know, and
he's not doing what
let's
he
film
used to
him
do.
like, yeah, like being a shell of his former self.
Nope.
He is still fucking boosting.
Yeah.
So that was pretty sick. I guess along those lines, like the one that got away will always be Randall.
Could your drone keep up?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't even know. Like, it would be an exciting thing just to find out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like that. You know, I was messaging Trev whenever, like, I guess he was shooting Scumline, and I got wind that like there was potential that Randall was going to be in it, and I'm pretty sure I was just like, dude, I'll fly out there on my own time. Like, just let me get like,
you could give me water
set
time with
Randall.
him, like,
yeah. But unfortunately that kind of didn't pan out. So there's obviously going to be a few, but I mean, like, I've got to film with like, you know, Parks, Murray, like all these fucking legends, and I feel like so stoked about that.
Yeah.
And you know, cable legends too. So it's like, I can't complain. I like
The list is short of people you haven't.
I guess so. Yeah.
Filmed,
Yeah.
So which is awesome. And it's super cool. Does DJS still sponsor you?
So no, for a while they were like, I wouldn't say they sponsored me necessarily. Like everyone kind of like, I guess you want to put it in those terms because everyone's used to like wakeboarding and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they employed me to film a bunch of videos as a contractor.
Yeah.
They had seen my drone stuff and hit me up, and just said, hey, this is really cool. Like, would you be interested in working together? But at the time that this all happened, I think it was just when they'd released the first Osmo, like their GoPro equivalent. And so most of like what I ended up filming was like a lot of that, because that was like their kind of like marketing push at the time. But I also, I did get a couple of freebies off them. So I guess in that sense, you know, like you could call that sponsorship.
Sure.
And then COVID hit, and I guess like communication kind of died off, which I guess initially, you know, the whole of China was like shut down. No one's allowed to go to work. Like everything's fucked. So I was like kind of, you know, not really thinking about that stuff anyway. Like, you know, there were more pressing things going on. And then, just my contacts there kind of like never got back in touch.
Yeah.
I keep saying that I should like just hit them up and, you know, even just like hit up the generic inbox and be like, hey, this is the stuff I'm doing. Are you interested? But, to be honest, like, I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, not pushing for it. That's fine. How many people have you hit with the drone?
Let me think. Definitely more than zero, but it's like something that I really, you know, it's obviously my absolute main concern at all times is not doing that. But yeah, I'm trying to think. So the one like that comes to mind is Max Sayer. Shout out Max Sayer. Where I like ever so slightly nudged him, but did definitely make contact. I'd seen that he was like slowing down because I guess he'd like, you know, lost the handle or whatever and was going up this big safety at ODub, and slammed on the brakes, but like it was kind of too little too late, which is always, you know, that's on me. But yeah, I think in the end, like the battery kind of like gave him a little love tap, and the drone survived, and so did he. So thank God for that. And touch wood, we won't be doing that again. But yeah, I've definitely like, well, I've not hit myself, but I've had some pretty gnarly incidents with like just sometimes they go haywire, sometimes they just like start breaking down. Yeah. I had one at like Wakefest, Tennessee, where like I'm on this houseboat flying from there, which already is, you know, so you're rocking around, and it's like it's not an ideal, but there's no other place to shoot from, and yeah, the drone just went crazy, and there's people about. I'm worried that it's going to go crazy and fly off and like hit someone in the face, but it just would not shut down. I'm doing like the emergency stop and everything. It's just like doing nothing. So in the end, my only course of action was to grab it and just like bury my forearm into the propellers just to like stop it from taking off. While I ripped the battery out, and yeah, she sliced up my arm pretty good, but yeah, that's about
take one for the team right there,
I guess. Yeah.
How many drones have you lost?
Lost? Oh God, I don't even know. I would love to like. I'd have to take some time to think about this. I must have been through like in the region of like 20 to 30.
Wow, that's way more than I thought.
Yeah,
but that's been a long time.
But this is like, you got to appreciate like barely any of those were like crashed. It's just that at some point these things aren't made to like they're not waterproof.
Yeah,
they're not designed for what I'm doing. I've even like tried to claim stuff on warranty before, and DJI have come back to me and been like, yeah, sorry, you're flying over water. What are you talking about? This obviously this is not what this thing's designed to do. So yeah, at some point like they'll just fall out of the air. I had one, so that Daniel Grant video, if you watch all the way to the end, there's a nice little Easter egg, which is like one of my drones falling out of the air. And basically I'm coming around Motor Tower, and Dan's about to do a trick. And yeah, one of the motors, I'm just like guessing, but I'm pretty sure from the way it flipped over, I think one of the motors burned out. And the way that these things are designed is like every single, like all four propellers have to be spinning. Otherwise, like it can't stay airborne because they're all like counteracting each other to keep it in the air. Excuse me.
You're good.
So yeah, like basically it's absolutely fine, and then it just like randomly like flips over and just goes in the lake. And I've had a fair few of those.
Yeah, just name of the game.
Yeah, exactly. What happens. Yeah, just part of the process.
So how do you deal with people asking you for clips after you film people?
It's, you know, obviously, again, like it's sick to like stoke people out. Like that's the thing, like I touched on earlier, that I love more than anything about wakeboarding. And so I always want to get stuff to people as soon as possible, and as many people. When you do a contest and there's like, you know, in some cases like 300 riders or something, it's like, that's pretty difficult to do it. And, you know, a lot of organizers are pretty good and pretty on it about, they will, you know, they're best placed to sort of like send out clips because they've already got everyone's email address, everyone's like waiver, all that sort of stuff. So I'll get the footage over to the organizer, and then they can sort of handle it. But inevitably, like people start DMing me like as soon as the contest is, sometimes like before the contest is done, and it's you know, to a certain level.
Don't do that.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I mean, obviously it gets into a thing where like, if it's one of the boys, like if it's, you know, or girls, but if it's, you know, if it's a homie, then like, you know, I'm not going to refuse. I'm going to go well out of my way to do that. But, you know, if you're some person that's like never even come and said hi to me, and you're just like in my DMs every hour going like, hey, can I get those clips? Hey, can I get those clips? Like, yeah, I'm probably not going to be in a rush to
walk up to him with some cold hard cash. Yeah, that's how you get your clips.
No, I don't. Like, I never want to do that either. Yeah. Like genuinely, people offer all the time. They're like, hey,
you turn them down?
Yeah, for sure. Oh. I'm already getting paid to do the contest. Like,
that's fair.
There are guys out there that like do charge people to send them their footage. I don't know. I would just feel kind of uncomfortable about that.
Yeah, like, I guess if you're already getting paid, it's like, this is my job. I'm already doing my job. I don't need to do on top. That's fair. Yeah. How often do you get asked to film somebody? Like if you show up to a cable, like even if you're just going to a ride, like random place. I mean, there's got to be people that just come and be like, Dave, can you film this real quick?
I feel like for the most part, like at least among the pros, like people are pretty like respectful of like my time and everything.
Yeah.
And again, like most of them are friends, so it's like, you know, yeah. So generally, like don't have too much of that. You do just get like certain sort of like randoms. yeah, I feel like wakeboarding, for what it's worth, maybe extreme sports in general, kind of attracts like a certain type of person. Like I would maybe even say, and I feel like I can say this because I think I'm slightly on the spectrum myself, but it's sort of like, you know, there's a little bit of like we skew towards autism a little bit in this community, and so that like you do sometimes encounter like, you know, someone they'll come up like, hey, can you film it? And I've literally like, I don't even know them again, like never said hi or anything, but they know that like I film stuff.
Hey,
and there's this kind of expectation, like I'm here at the cable park, like, and I'm riding. So like someone should be filming this, like, cause clearly like I'm
obviously
I'm the center of the universe. Yeah. So you do get that sometimes. And I try like, you know, like, yeah, I always try, like if I can and I'm not busy, like I'll always try and like grab people some clips. If it's just like doing a couple laps of the cable, it's no skin off my nose. But yeah, I mean, obviously sometimes like, you just want to go to the cable and ride.
It's hard to say no sometimes too. That's where it's like, I'm just here to ride, dude. Like, sorry.
Yeah. But generally,
they're
like,
understanding, I'm sure. But
yeah, but I say that, like, I often say that, and yeah, people have been nothing but respectful. So
yeah,
I really got no qualms or anything.
Absolutely. All right, we got a Patreon question from Garrett Cortez. So huge shout out to all the Patreon members. You guys' support is what keeps this podcast going. So thank you. If you guys do want to see who the guests are early, make sure to join the Patreon. You guys can submit a question to them. So we got this one from Garrett. And he's wondering, you have to make a drone-heavy wakeboard video. Any or all disciplines, so boat, cable, winch, whatever, you get to choose. And you have to choose 5 riders. Who are you picking and why?
Damn. Sorry. Current riders?
You know, we don't have to put restraints on it or constrictions. Yeah. It's kind of up to you.
Fair enough.
Current would be cool, but also all-time would be cool as well.
Mm. Oh, dude, this is always so tough because like
I'm not letting you snake out of this one, dude.
Okay.
We're making a list.
All right, we're making a full on list. Okay, so wakeboard movie, drone heavy,
5 riders.
5 riders. Let's stick a girl in there straight away, because I think that would be sick, and I want to, you know, yeah, I think it's important if we're doing this. If
we're gonna do it right.
If the budget has come in and this thing's getting
the damn thing right.
made, then yeah, we better do it right. So yeah, I would like to put Rivs in, I reckon, for that. I think she's obviously been doing so sick at contests recently, but I also think like, and what I love about her riding personally is like, yeah, she's great with the free riding, and I feel like she's got so much style, and she'd have so much to bring to a video like that. So and she's also sick to work with. So yeah. Rivs for sure. Let me see this. Oh man, now I've only got 4 left, and there's like
that was an easy one. Honestly, now it's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all hard.
Yeah. Damn. Who are we gonna put in next? I'm kind of like, there's a part of me that, you know, there's a reason that I've filmed a lot with certain people.
Yeah.
So like Pedro, for example, like, you know, or Graeme or whoever it is. And, you know, that's not through accident. That's because like I've really pursued filming with those guys because I really rate their riding for very different reasons with those 2 examples. But, you know, almost if I try and put myself in the thing of like doing this for real, it's like, do you put them in? Because, you know, that's the natural inclination, or is it like I already done a bunch of filming with those, so like I should
very solid counterpoint to that.
So that one's tough for me. I gotta put that on the back burner.
Okay,
they might be in the friends section, but like a really heavy friends section.
That would be a very heavy friends section. Yeah.
Shit. Let me see. We'll go Gav. Like. Yeah, I think, I mean, it would be hard to counteract that. I think he's like, you know, he's like such a triple threat as well.
Yeah,
I feel like
very well rounded.
Yeah, so and that's something that I've always tried to push. Like, is, you know, yeah, cable, winch, boat, everything together. Like we're all doing the same.
It's all wakeboarding,
and like it's all sick. So like that needs to go in. I think he would like definitely deliver on that front. So that would be really cool. I'm gonna say Felix. Have just always loved the way he rides. Like I think he would be such a fun inclusion in that video. yeah, and I haven't really like outside of the odd thing here and there, haven't had like an opportunity to like
proper.
Yeah, just like knuckle down and film with him. So like big like fucking winch section with Felix, and then some messing around on the cable would be pretty dreamy.
Okay.
Where do we go from here? God, this is so tough.
Rivers, Gavin, Felix.
Yeah. I'm trying to like. I definitely want to pick one of the UK boys, but that gets tough. Like that's like
you know,
because you could fill the whole list with like with we could do like Liam, Ryan, Kieran, Joey, Matty like instantly.
It could be
like,
a UK movie.
Like we could get Madison as a girl. Like that would be fucking sick.
Well, too bad you can't do that. It's only 5 and you already listed off 3, bud.
All right, so I'm gonna choose one. I've done a bunch of filming with May. We actually like there's I think stuff still to come from that. But like I don't. Let me think. Who have we got? I'm gonna put Liam in for this one, just for some heavy like
some hammers.
Yeah, exactly. Some hammer time. He's gonna stomp that triple, and it's going in my movie. There we go.
Is that ender right there? Triple's the ender,
dude. Hard to argue with that, right? Yeah, I reckon that'd be pretty sweet.
One more.
I mean, I also want to. I do want to put Trent in because again, like I feel like one heavy, but also like I feel okay. Here's a hot take.
There we go.
I feel like Trent's style is like seriously slept on. I feel like people like see him as like the contest guy that like wins everything, and they like say, oh, he's a machine, he's this, he's that. But like if you actually look at like, I think he's really fucking stylish. And where style is, to me, talking about the silhouette thing, it's like if someone rides in a way where if you could see them and they were blacked out, but like you instantly know that it's them.
Yeah.
Like there isn't one type of like style, but like the way he rides, I think is really dope. Like he presses the fuck out of everything,
grabs the shit out of everything.
Yeah, like really like tweaks the shit out of like every single grab. Like does. He does, yes, very technical shit, but he always makes it look good.
And it's always stomped. It's never, like, there's never a doubt.
Yeah.
I think when people think style, they only think of, like, a Tobias or, like, Sammy or, like, where there's style in all aspects. And it might not be what you initially thought style just was, which is, that's a great hot take. So are we putting Trent in?
Oh, well, you just mentioned Tobias, and that was kind of like, dude, that was like on my lips. Shit, there's just too fucking many, dude. Like, this is so hard.
Hit me with a fifth.
This is so hard. Yeah, screw it. We're doing Toby. Why not? Like, that's.
Tell Toby. He's in.
Again, like I filmed with him like a bit. We worked on a couple of projects together. He was there for that Shargal thing we did with Stefan and stuff. But I would love to just like, things haven't worked out, as I said, like especially the last few years where it might have happened. Like, yeah, I've not unfortunately been able to like get out and dedicate the time to it. But
there's only so much time.
Yeah, for sure. But he's definitely someone that I would love to like just fucking. Yeah, spend a couple months just shooting with and clipping up.
I like that. All right. I mean, the heater friend section too is what I'm saying.
Oh, dude, yeah. You know what? Like half an hour friend section. It's gonna be as long as the main movie.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, we got another Patreon question from Robbie Holohan, and he's wondering any guidance / do's and don'ts for the commoners of the drone world. So we kind of touched on some tips, but I don't know anything that jumps out, like if someone's just picking up a drone and they're trying to go film their friends.
Yeah. The thing I always tell people is like start off slow. Like it's pretty easy to crash those things, and if you're just getting started, you haven't like played much in the way of like video games or like had that sort of experience. Just like take your time to get used to it. Like you can go slowly because like at least with the normal drones like the DJI stuff. If you let go of the sticks, it's just going to hover, right? And like I touched on earlier, they're pretty good these days. They'll stay in place now. So take it easy. If you're shooting cable, like go above the cable and just follow it around. Just get used to kind of like smoothly like going around. You can go like do some figure eights and loop around some trees and stuff like that. Just there's no substitute for seat time. It's exactly the same as wakeboarding. It's exactly the same as everything else in life. Yeah. Like you just got to put the time in. don't expect results unless you're willing to like just sit there for hours flying the thing. But the more time you put in, the better you're going to get. So that would be my main sort of tip. For people.
Easy. I like that. So good to have more people film a drone too. Not from 6 miles away though. So I got a couple of random ones here. Why'd you shave your head?
Damn. Why did I shave my head? I think so. We were. It was one of the 313, like one of the wake duel contests, and I think at some point like someone had like it was like a drunken thing where someone was like, "Oh yeah, let's shave his head," and then I thought it was going to happen, and I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, why not?" Like it was just a spur of the moment sort of thing. And then we got distracted and ended up like going to the club or whatever, and it never happened. But then I got home and I was like, it kind of put the idea in my head. And I was just like, yeah, I was kind of done with having long hair. It was just more of a pain in the ass.
Pain in the ass, man.
Yeah. And that, like, dude, as soon as I shaved it, I was like, oh my god, I can shower. I can
free.
Just, like, I'm done. We're like, there's no like drying off process.
Yeah,
I just like, just get out and I'm like, I'm good to go. So that was pretty sweet. But recently I've kind of like got back into the whole. I kept having bald dudes come up to me. This is not a joke. It happened like at least 10 times. No word of a lie. Like bald guys would come up and be like, dude, you can't do that. Like, what are you doing, man? You've got a full head of hair. Like, don't like we're struggling out here.
You're taking our culture.
I'm not even sure. Yeah, I'm not sure they were coming from the cultural appropriation angle, but they were more just like it's just like, dude, you gotta, you've got the hair, like grow it out, like don't.
You're a poser, dude. You're fake
exactly.
bald. You're fake bald. You gotta come into this club natural.
Pretty much.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, we're rocking a little bit of hair now.
All right. I want to know what's more boring, filming wake surfing or being an accountant.
Oh, dude. I mean, I got to be careful here because obviously, like I do film a lot of wake surfing, but I mean, but also the answer genuinely is accounting. Like, like for we can joke about wake surfing as much as we want. Like, and for me, it is not on the level of exciting that as wakeboarding. It doesn't give me like quite the same stoke, but I still have a lot of fun filming it. Like,
still, you're on the water.
Yeah. And especially like, I mean, there's dudes like Joey Harris, for example. I feel like he probably gets brought up a lot, but like, to watch him ride, I'm pumped on that. Like,
or like a Noah Flegel too. Like,
yeah, dude, Noah, like
that
absolutely rips.
Exciting.
Like, I mean, I feel like it kind of goes without saying that Noah rips, but so those are the two that really like, and even on the sort of like skim side, guys like Sean Silvera, like he does some sick stuff. So does Jet. Like, but the surf style is more interesting to me. And yeah, when I'm filming Joey, just like get massive airs, and like, really like rip on a wake surf, genuinely. I'm enjoying filming that.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is as well, it's like I guess the best angle for shooting wake surfing is flying backwards. There's, again, talking about the sort of like the not showing off thing. It's like there are very few times, and there are examples where I do it, but there are very few times with wakeboarding where it's the best angle to be like right in front of someone. But with wake surfing, you want to see the size of the wave. You want to get that amplitude. You want to see like what someone's doing. So I tend to, and it's actually like probably the hardest thing I do with any filming is I'll sit and fly backwards, but between the boat and the rider. So the rider's like, and they'll come forwards. They'll like put their weight on their front foot and come down towards you, and you got to back up, but you can't back up too much because you're going to be running into the boat. So like, actually, if you want to talk about like excitement and stuff, like I have a lot of fun filming wake surfing. Like I kind of like just in the process of trying to get the most interesting shot. Like,
I never thought that I didn't know you fly switch.
There you go.
It's interesting when you put it that way,
dude.
That's a good point.
I mean, like if there's anything I'm all about, it's like switching regs, right? So it's like
this is just another way to
gotta
sharpen your sword. Well, look at that. That's wild. Spin zone right there. All right. So how do you choose which contests you do and don't go to? Because I'm sure you get invited to a lot of them. So how do you decipher? Can I go here? I'm going to go there.
So the honest answer to that, like, and it's pretty boring, is like it's first come first serve. Like, if someone books me, like I'm not gonna turn around and kind of go back on that. So yeah, like it tends to be sort of like whoever gets to me first. Which in wakeboarding events, like people tend to be pretty last minute. Yep. So yeah, like the sooner you can sort of get in there, I guess the better. But you know, like that's something I just feel I have to do as a professional. But
it makes it black and white. It's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
They booked me. I'm here. I'm locked in. Sorry.
There you go.
Easy. How do you decide, I guess, when to stop taking more? Because I mean, I'm sure you get more than you can take on, right? Even if the weekend's free, it's like, well, I'd love to, but man, I gotta for my own health. I can't, spend every weekend on the road 52 weeks of the year.
There's definitely, like that's definitely been, I guess, my mentality in the past, and something that I was, is for those of you who've not been like self-employed or whatever. There's always the feeling that like, okay, well, I can't turn down this work because it's more work. Like I'm just leaving money on the table, and so it's very easy to kind of like burn yourself out. I guess in that sense, but I've always been in the mentality of, and luckily as well, like I, as I said, enjoy the fuck out of what I do. So like it never really feels like work. But yeah, I mean, I've always tended to kind of like just take on whatever comes up and just, and just make the time. Definitely more recently, like I've been, I have been turning stuff down, and I feel like it's different because then it's not about me. It's about, like I say, just needing to be there to care for my mum and stuff. So like it's just been a kind of like an obvious like hard line of, yeah, sorry, can't do that. Like, I'm busy. And yeah, it does suck to to leave all that work. The thing is as well with these sort of things, like with especially contests and stuff. If you don't do something, obviously they're going to find someone else to do it. And that person, if they do a good job, like why would the contest like change who they use in the future?
If it worked, yeah.
This guy turned up, he did a good job. Maybe it wasn't like the absolute like best possible quality in the world, but like he turned up and everything worked out. So it's like there's a sense of like you gotta do everything that comes up. But yeah, I mean I've kind of like been forced to take a bit of a backseat with that recently, and it's I think it's a healthy thing, because now I think in the future I'll be a little bit more sort of. If I like, I've always worked on my birthday, for example.
When's your birthday?
Like, thought we weren't going to get into age.
July 4th. I just wanted the date.
I don't know, man. I can't be giving out any information. Someone's going to try and hack.
Don't
me
wish Dave a happy birthday.
But yeah, please don't. But like stuff like that. It's like, maybe I'll just like, if something comes up, but I'm not like, it's not something that I'm massively stoked on, especially if it's outside of wakeboarding. Yeah. Then maybe I'll just turn that down.
Skip it. I like that. All right, I wanna know your thoughts, because you travel, you go to contests, you've filmed a lot of riding over the past basically decade. How do you feel about the current state of wakeboarding?
Interesting. Where do we begin? It's hard to say, man. Like I got into this after the glory days, after the like the whole time that I've been in wakeboarding. It feels like it hasn't got that much worse. But there was definitely a period, the heyday where guys were making legit salaries and making a living off wakeboarding, and there was, a lot more sponsor involvement. And I mean, we could do another like 10 hours on sort of like why that's happened, why that stuff's gone away, and where things have like gone downhill. But for me, like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't feel so negative about it, because maybe I wasn't around to see those like glory days in person.
Yeah.
But I do also feel like, yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty bad state of affairs, I feel like, where there's so many riders that should be getting paid, and are putting their bodies on the line and doing all this stuff, and are barely getting supported. And yeah, whether it's boat, whether it's cable, I don't feel like there's a whole lot of people that are able to even just like make a living enough to where they're not getting like support from, say, parents or whatever it might be. And that sucks, man. Like we should definitely be, I don't know, like I believe in this whole thing. Like you obviously do too. Yeah, I guess I'm like hopeful that we can get to a point in the future where like things do get better in that sense, but I'm not sure what the path is to that. Yeah.
It's interesting. I think a lot of people agree, but I don't think a lot of people agree on what the path is. Right? Everybody can agree that we want all these guys to get paid. So what's the path? What does that look like?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
we believe in it.
Yeah,
I believe in it. I believe there is a path. I don't know what it is specifically yet. I mean, it feels like without the Red Bull helmet, it's really hard to like make a proper living out of this thing.
100%.
And that's not a great state for your sport to be in. It's fragile at that point. It's not durable. So
Totally.
I don't know. Social media, who knows? We'll see. Hit me with some hot takes.
I thought we already did.
Yeah, but you got more.
I already got 2 for you.
That's true. You did hit me with 2. That's fair.
All right.
I know you got something in there though.
Seeing as we didn't talk about it, I'm gonna just take my opportunity. Wake pants, get in the bin. Like
okay, this is it. This is right here. This is what I wanted. I had wake pants written down, but you hit me with it.
I'm jumping the gun.
In the bin.
I just didn't want to waste my opportunity while I've got an audience.
It's
and
a good one.
Yeah. No, I think that there's like, for me, there's something about like, who am I to talk? I'm riding in like a shirt that's got a bunch of fucking cats all over it, right? But my reasoning is this, that the shirt is functional, right? So like, it's not just to cover up the vest. It's like to keep the sun off. It's to keep the wind off. Like it's serving a purpose, right? Every other bit of my gear like serves some sort of purpose. And yeah, like you can choose the item or whatever, and you can like, you want to tailor it to yourself and express yourself in a certain way. But with the wake pants, it's like, it's not doing anything. Like it's purely an aesthetic thing. And not only is it an aesthetic choice, but it's a bit of a crutch. So
I like where you're going with this.
So there's like, and I'm gonna, like I'm contradicting myself already, but like I also feel like there are certain people that can get away with it. We mentioned Toby. I think like that's a perfect example of like, that boy can do what he wants because he makes it look fucking sick. He's earned the right to wear the pants.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, like they kind of substitute having actual style for like covering up their knees so that you like, it just inherently looks a bit better when you've got everything covered up.
Yeah.
You see it in snowboarding, you see it in free skiing, you see it in everywhere, right? And we've like just invented a reason to wear baggy pants that like don't actually need to be there. If you can do stuff in like, people talk about like Winnie the Pooh like style.
Yeah, Pooh
like,
Bear, yeah.
people talk about, I liken it more to like, like you're not gonna catch a reference probably because this is dating me, but like that Simpsons thing where like Ned Flanders is skiing and like he's got the tight like ski thing.
I'll put it in a little thing.
Yeah, you can like flash it up, but he's like, feels like I'm wearing nothing at all.
Flanders? That suit's a little revealing, isn't it?
Well, it allows for maximum mobility. Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all.
Like, that's what I was thinking about. But that sort of like just wetsuit and then like it's not perfect, but it is functional. So I tend to ride in like windbreaker and then just the long wetsuit in the winter. But and if you can ride in that setup and still make it look good, then that's something to be commended. You've had to work for the style because everything's like laid out,
Yeah.
You're wearing nothing at all. But the pants, they hide every little imperfection and just give you this like undeserved steeze that I think I don't know. I think you should have to earn that shit.
A little cheat code, I think, is what. It's a little cheat code to wear the wake pants. You're cutting corners, is what you're saying.
100%. Yeah, doing a shoddy job, just like
Interesting.
What would you say? Like,
I don't think the Winnie the Pooh Bear look is a good one.
That's bad.
To me personally, I think this falls under like my view is like board graphics. If I look down and see a bad board graphic, I ain't hyped to ride. It's not. And if I look down and see my leggings, I don't wear leggings. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not Lululemon yoga pants out here. Like so, if I look down and see that, I'm not hyped.
That's fair.
I'm also really not wearing a wetsuit that much, so it's like not a huge issue for me. But I think the full wetsuit, only wetsuit. Obviously, this isn't safe if you're just doing that. But I think that looks good. Okay. Like when Joey B just has full gray wetsuit, that's it. That looks pretty good. It's like more surfer kind of.
I'm glad that you brought this up because like I didn't want to because again I don't want to be seen to encourage this or whatever. Like I rode with my vest unzipped one time and ended up with David OC doing a whole campaign about how how wakeboarders need to
Was
be
this
safe.
in his era where he was doing like dock starts off of roofs and stuff? Probably,
It was in that era, funnily enough. But yeah, apparently like not having my zip done up was a huge problem. But yeah, no, I get it. Like we all need to be safe. Like no one wants to, like if a young Grom like starts doing that and then like has an accident, like that would be the worst thing.
Terrible.
So, but among trained professionals,
sure,
there is nothing sicker than when you see like Clem Nadal, or Hervé or someone like you say, just wetsuit, nothing else,
just full on not giving a fuck.
Yeah, being gangster as fuck. Like that's, I don't know, it's hard to beat that.
It is, right? And yeah, we kind of prefaced it with what we needed to, but yeah, so that's kind of where I fall. I think, maybe my tune's changing a little bit because I saw Joey Battleday at 313 during the switch thing, and he had like the baseball kind of style shirt where it like changes colors here, and then he just had the gray, but he didn't have pants on. He had like, I don't know, Yeah. I feel like everything for the most part can be pulled off well, except Winnie the Pooh is pretty tough. That's a tough one. But
I mean, what I'm getting from what you're saying is like for you, it is a functional thing, right?
It is
because when you look down, like if you see like you're just your leggings, then you're not going to ride to your full potential. So, for you, it's a practical concern.
It is, yeah. Okay. It's interesting you go windbreaker though with the wetsuit because that's not practical.
It is, 100% is. Like to
keep you warm.
Yeah, it keeps like not only does it keep the wind off, but it also you get this kind of like greenhouse effect of like
you're getting okay. All right, that's fair.
The warm air doesn't get to escape or whatever.
Very utilitarian is what you are.
Okay. Actually, the best thing I've ever like for a while I was like, I guess like trying to clown the wake pants, and so I got like a hazmat suit and I was riding in that for a little bit. And what's really annoying is that turned out to be super functional because like again
the worst discovery.
Well, like talking about the greenhouse effect or whatever, like I've never been so warm. Yeah. I was like, like 0 degrees and I was like sweating in my wetsuit, like only a 3-2 because it's just like keeping that warmth. So yeah, there you go. Top tip. We're about to see a ton of people just like riding around in hazmat suits.
I got a hot take. I think we need more clowning. I think people need to clown on stuff more. What do you think?
There used to be a really good Insta account for that. And then
why'd you log out?
I don't know. I guess
come back, Dave.
What the people need, yeah.
That's what the people need, dude. We need more clowning in a funny way. Don't be mean. Just
I was talking about Wake Siege, by the way. I just
why'd you log out? I heard you got passed down from. I won't say the first name. I'll leave that one anonymous. If you know, you know.
It, yeah. We'll just tease one letter. I wholeheartedly agree. Yeah. We definitely need to do more.
I think the Brexit boys can kind of fill a hole here, boys. Let's on the Brexit boys Instagram. Let's get some clowning going on in there.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's shake some stuff up.
There is something about the, like, as you well know, like being able to do it anonymously, where I feel like, and this is the problem, is like as soon as you're involved in the industry in any way,
we can't do it.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's
unless we kept it a secret, Dave.
But someone needs to do it.
Somebody does.
Like this is an appeal, and like okay, there's a few people that have been trying to do it, and they've done it in a.
You're missing the mark.
Yeah, for sure. Like that ain't it, Chief. Yeah. It's all I will say. But yeah, I mean, there's an opportunity there, and there's also something that like just as a public service for wakeboarding, like we need people being called out. It can't be someone in the industry because like instantly, like,
half these people are your friends. It's impossible.
Exactly.
Now,
there's all the repercussions come back. Yeah. But I'm still seeing a whole lot of Zeechin and like a whole lot of very
some butt drags. We got people claiming tricks that they didn't land, but they thought they landed, and their friends said they landed, but they didn't land them.
Yeah.
So
oh, dude, I completely. While we're talking about that, like I completely forgot to give the caveat on the old switch double tanny that I did like land it in the most questionable possible way. But I will say that my bindings completely detached.
Equipment malfunction.
Yes. But like rode it out. But yes, did sort of like didn't land it clean.
The good thing about that is you're in Florida and that shit counts in Florida. So you're totally good. You're chilling.
Is it like the surf thing with like, you get like 3 foot Hawaiian or whatever? Yeah, if you're in Florida, like you're allowed to
double overhead. Yeah, exactly. You're exactly, good. Yeah. So all right, shifting gears. We got one last one before we wrap this up. Who do you think is the most underrated rider right now?
Oh, shit.
Maybe guys and girls.
Hunter Thane, I reckon.
No, shut the fuck up.
I don't know, man. I saw
Shut
something
up.
pretty sick on the story yesterday.
No, that should have gone on close friends, damn it.
Oh, what? I'm not a close friend?
You still would have saw it. Maybe you wouldn't have brought it up.
Shit, most underrated.
Yeah.
Dude, I just touched on Hervé at Zion. Like, that like immediately jumps to mind as like that dude should be fucking world famous. He's insane. He does the most fucked up shit. Yeah. Yeah. Clem also. Like,
I was about to say Clem.
Like,
I was going to say Clem.
Clem I also mentioned. Like, I don't know why. Like, maybe it's because of the the wetsuit only conspiracy. Maybe they've been held back by dark forces in the industry. But I think it's more just that like there's no fucking money anywhere and no one's shining a light on like up and coming riders, or not even up and coming. But you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Like. Go check both those guys out. They're fucking insane. They do the most gnarly shit. I love to watch them ride. Like, yeah.
What do we got, ladies? Who we got?
Most underrated among the ladies.
I would have put Elena in, like, if this were a bit ago. I feel like she's getting talked about now.
She's getting which is really great to see. That was kind of like where my mind went initially. Yeah, shit, I don't know. That's actually...
It'd be interesting to come back to this one after this season. Yeah. Because we got a lot of contests this season. So.
And I feel like the women's is like, it just really feels like it's very up for grabs. Like, there's a ton of people in the mix. Yeah. And, like, any of them could walk away with it at the end of the day. Yeah. Even Kangas, like, which is exciting, like, with the Kangas comeback.
That's true. Like, the comeback tour.
There's a lot of people in the mix. So, like, I don't know. That feels genuinely exciting in a way that, like... I mean, the men's is always going to be exciting to watch, but it feels like there's maybe a limited field of potential podium winners or whatever.
Yeah, it's not as big, but the women's got a lot. Yeah, all right, I love that. Is there anything you want to touch on here before we wrap this up? Maybe anybody you want to thank?
I don't think so. No, I think I don't think. Well, in terms of touching on stuff. No, like, shout out to you, man, for all you do.
Thank you.
I don't want to, again, let's not get into too much glazing. But
we did glaze each other a little bit. But that's all right.
Try to avoid that. But it needs to be said. Like, this is a really valuable thing for, like, the sport as a whole. There's that word again, sport. But you know what I mean.
You can't help yourself.
I know, right? Just like... but it's definitely something that we need. And hopefully it, helps, like... this whole thing grow a little bit and we can finally like move in the right direction with things. So thank you for all you do.
Well, thank you, Dave. Thanks for coming on, because what you've done for the sport has brought a very legitimate style of filming and editing and production value that is hard to come by in very niche sports like wakeboarding. It takes somebody who's willing to sacrifice not going to the outside industries of like, you could go make a lot more money doing something else, but you choose to stay here. We got you latched on to wakeboarding. We got you. We got the hook in you. So
I mean, like, honestly, that's all it is. It's an addiction. It's really like luckily I chose this instead of like drugs or gambling or something. But I mean,
you can do gambling too. I gamble too. We can do both.
Nah, not my thing, man. Not my thing. I'm trying to stay away from that. I feel that could be dangerous. But,
it is.
But I do like seeing all your betting lines. That's always like
they're tough to come up with, but yeah, we'll keep working on those. Anybody that you'd like to thank before we wrap this up and go take some laps at ODUB?
Shout out to everyone that like came in with questions and that. That's I don't know, some good ones actually. I was expecting like some much worse stuff. So thank you for asking like thoughtful questions. It's been really fun trying to wrap my head around them. Sorry if my answers have been a bit rambly. And then I just want to give a shout out to Bam as well. And all my mates at home.
That's it. We're good.
All right.
Anything else you want to touch on? We're good. We're ready to go take some laps.
Oh yeah. Let's get down there.
All right. I'm riding behind you. Actually, no, I'm right in front of you, and I know exactly what I'm going to do.
All right, sick. What?
Right down the middle.
Oh shit.
All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.